February 4th, McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Excited about today's show. A lot to get to. We have a first time ever, I believe, magician in studio. I'm sure it's happened on Jocks, but not for our show before.
The Magic Man. Now you see me. Now you don't.
Who referenced himself as the Magic Man? Don Mikowski, Green Bay Packers quarterback. The Magic Man.
I wasn't.
It's before your time.
I wasn't talking about him. I was talking about
Pre-Favre.
John C. Riley.
I'm not sure who that is.
Talladega Nights. Seen it?
It's been a minute.
A little after your time.
Yeah. I was trying to explain the, was that a mountain lion in the car?
Yes.
When I took kids to Talladega, and they've got that sitting over there in the new paddock area now. Brandon Marcello
is mountain lion in the paddock area?
In the car. Like they have the actual car and then the mountain lion.
Oh, really?
Well, it's like stuffed.
Love that.
Yeah. What do they call it when you take the deer in?
They take him to the taxidermist.
Taxidermist has done it. Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Happens.
You know about taxes, but not taxidermy.
It's true.
Brandon Marcello's with us at 7:20.
You get in trouble with the IRS.
We're getting rid of them, so it doesn't matter.
EXRS.
Exactly. 7:20. Brandon Marcello. Why Jim Knowles left Ohio State? This thing's beginning to look a little bit messy. Kind of on both sides. We'll get it straightened out from Marcello and ask him how the Ryan Grubb hire changes his opinion on Alabama. Top three into this hour. Andy Bertram at 8. We'll preview Auburn, Oklahoma tonight. Matt Miller, draft expert. He's got his new mock draft out. 2 rounds. He was in Mobile. Where's some of the movement taking place? We'll discuss that at 8:30 with him. 9 o'clock, Patton Gillen, magician in studio. So I had a chance to see this young man perform over the weekend, and I was super skeptical.
Love that.
Super skeptical. It's early, and I'm struggling, but we're going to get it.
Struggling.
And I'll just tell you, this dude,
How late were you at Odie's last night?
Couldn't tell you the last time I went to that place.
How late were you at New York Pizza?
I wish I was there last night.
Meredith looked at me yesterday. She goes, "We're grilling tonight." I go, "Done." Never ever really had to twist my arm to do that. What do you want? I'm like, I literally don't know. I'll cook anything. Cooked burgers last night. Bro, best burger ever.
Hold on a second. You had a chance to go eat anywhere you wanted to. And
anything
you decided
I wanted.
to cook your own burger?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Did you see it outside yesterday?
It was beautiful. We had like a 4-hour kickball game outside, family kickball.
That was America yesterday.
That was it.
That's it.
Boys took every riding.
White House changes power, weather gets good. That's how it goes.
You know, there will be some that claim that. See what happens?
Use that foreign aid money to get the snow out of here.
They've been controlling the weather. But all seriousness, though, yesterday, I think every single thing that you can ride in our garage was outside of our house. I think Vince had 3 bikes out at one point yesterday.
Just, you don't know which one's going to be fastest. Yeah, you got to test them out.
Like, he wanted to take his scooter, his 3-wheel scooter, his Razor, his bike. If you have
sometimes you got to ride sibling bike just to see if it's faster. You don't know.
Yeah, the pedalless bike, like my first bike,
balance bike.
Was out. Balance bike, yeah. Balance bike, that was out yesterday.
Where were those when we were kids, by the way?
Golly, I would have been biking like crazy. I would have been biking at 19 months. 19 months, I would have been biking with a balance bike back in the day.
Wow, how old is he without training wheels? He's 9 months.
Seen this balance bike right here? Can he walk? No.
He can balance on a bike.
He can bike. We were ripping yesterday. Yesterday was the best day ever. What?
It was really nice. It's going to be 72 today. You get another one today.
Ooh.
Yep. Get your vehicles ready. Get your vehicles ready. Yeah, we did bike ride yesterday. We did some football outside, and then we did family kickball after dinner for at least an hour. 4-year-old had everything going for him. All-time pitcher, all-time kicker, both teams. He just couldn't get happy. So we finally shut it down.
Love that.
He's rolling on the ground crying.
Love that.
Same Burger King kid. Give it the program.
I don't think we talked about this yesterday, but Vince had a birthday party on Sunday. And we played a pretty hellacious game of kickball. It was me and my brother-in-law against 8 5-year-olds. And we were going hard in the paint. I'm talking hard in the paint.
They deserve it.
We rented out the place Hoops up on Montclair.
Free
Amazing
plug.
setup. Well, everybody knows about it. It's awesome. It's a great setup. They got 2 full court basketballs. I mean, there are games, practices going on all the time. It's a great spot. Long story short, we're playing a kickball game. I wear the Whoop band, which is kind of like a Fitbit or
Whoop, whoop.
Something that you keep track of your steps, how many calories you burn, all this other stuff.
I think you and Sankey are the only 2 left still wearing it.
False. All high-level athletes wear it.
Yes. Patrick Mahomes covers his up with tape. You're right.
I think Jackson Mahomes wears one.
Oh, boy. Oh,
what?
Boy. Oh, boy.
What?
Okay.
He probably does.
All right. So anyways, we get done playing a pretty hellacious game of kickball. I mean, it's hardcore. I mean, we're chasing after stuff. We're pegging kids. Kids are crying. Like, we weren't being bullies. We're just, hey, you're out. You're out. Like, if I got to get you at first, you're getting hit.
Peg is a peg.
The one did, in fairness, like they were kind of the old school balls with the texture on the outside, like we used to play on the playground with, like back in the day.
Yeah, the kickball balls.
Yeah, but they had like a texture where, like, if it hits your arm, you get scraped. Yeah. It's like a rug burn. Well, one did kind of hit one kid's ear, and I could see that being painful. Anyways, he needed consoling. The rest, you're out. Get in the back of the line. All right. I looked at my Whoop output after a game of kickball. Just a friendly game of kickball, an hour. I burned 1,100 calories.
Let's go.
1,100 calories.
Attaboy.
Playing kickball.
Okay.
I didn't realize that kickball, I always thought baseball, all these other sports, not going to be burned a lot. Playing a full court basketball, yeah, I can live with that. But kickball. So think about how many calories you burned yesterday.
Not that many. My family's not to a very challenging age yet. But it's pure domination when I play.
You have 2 kids that are over 5.
Yeah, the 9-year-old's not into it though. She does her own thing. She's playing Harry Potter and riding her bike with her friends. She has started a hockey league in our neighborhood.
Okay.
What?
Trust me, I was right there with you. I mean, she's as girly as they come, and her friends have a street hockey league.
They have rollerblades, or just
rollerblades, and they got the nets, the balls. My wife ordered them the little flip scoreboard thing.
That's awesome.
They're into it. They have organized practices.
Dude, that's so fun.
Go.
Back in the day, we used to play roller hockey like there's no tomorrow.
One of her little friends organized the whole thing, and she's like, "Dad, I got practice today." I was like, "Sorry, what?" "I got practice." "Okay, go have at it.
Love that.
Check it out. It's great. No, it's awesome." So, but yeah, 4-year-old did yesterday. He was pitching. He's like, "Show me what you got, Dad." And same thing that you just said. He took one to the face. I did not mean to do that.
Yeah.
But just so happened to coincide with him asking me to show him what I had right into the cheek.
Yeah, just a reminder.
And literally knocked him down.
You crowd the plate, son. That's what happens.
Should have pulled that off the camera and posted that yesterday.
Friendly reminder. It's the way things go. You know what's funny?
I did tell him when he stopped crying. I was like, "Well, now you know what I got."
Yeah.
He didn't think that was
Get in
funny.
there again.
Yeah, that's it.
Dare you.
It happens. It happens sometimes. So.
Sometimes that happens. But I'm telling you, man, I have now found, I feel like I'm in like peak dad mode right now. I'm peaking as a dad. It's all downhill here in like a year. But the level of positivity that I get personally from playing sports with my kids is amazing. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing more fun than that. And look, it's competitive. Like I'm not letting them win. Like sometimes they get me and it's like, Collie, that's awesome. You know what I mean? Vince ducked around. Like I tried to peg him and he like ducked around it. I was like, that was pretty smooth, dude. That's not normal ankle flexibility for a McElroy. Like you are not.
No, but it's cool to see the progression.
It's so cool to see the progression.
Because my little 4-year-old now, he's like, he can like actually run.
Yeah.
Where it used to be, you're kind of like plodding, like it's a little it's almost like a penguin walk. And it's like,
yeah.
Ba, 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 ba.
Yeah, it's not the most, it takes a little while.
But now he can like put his arms in front of each other and like he can scoot a little bit. And
Love
so
that.
like yesterday he kicks a couple balls that get fumbled and like he actually hits little home runs in the park or whatever. And he comes, slides into home, and it's just like, like you see the progression of, okay, he's not automatically going to get out every time. Like he can actually move a little bit. So it was fun. Where are you on the younger children? You said you let them win sometimes.
Yeah, the 3-year-old occasionally, like yesterday, for instance, he said he wanted to race. It doesn't do me any good, first, to run fast. Second, to beat him by 30 yards. Like that doesn't do me any good. So kind of keep it neck and neck. And at the last second, I'll let him.
Because there's certain dads out there that'll say, no, never. Never let him win anything. And that's where I am on my 7-year-old. Like, he doesn't beat me at anything. Absolutely nothing. 4-year-old wins about everything.
Yeah.
And I tell myself in my brain that like a year from now,
it'll flip.
It'll completely flip and he'll completely be dominated. But then other people will say, well, you can't let him win anything. You gotta show him who's boss.
No, but you want them to feel good about themselves too. Like, you also want them to be confident. Like,
well, it's also his brother does that enough to him that like his brother lets him have nothing.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. Like Vince,
like if it's tackle, it's literally 7-year-old picks him up and dumps him on his head every time. Like basketball, he can't even get a possession. As soon as he checks the ball in, swipe it out of his hand. Like, it's just, I'm like, all right, I'll give you a win every now and then, kid. It's okay.
Yeah, you're not a soft dad. You'll be all right. I'm not worried about that. We have the YMCA basketball on Saturdays, which is a real thrill. I had a buddy text me yesterday. He's like, it's the highlight of his week. It is honestly hilarious. It is really fun. I am coaching, and all the things we talked about last year as it relates to baseball and kind of the stress surrounding coaching baseball, especially Coach Pitch. Like, I'm assistant for Coach Pitch. I'm not sure I'm ready for that spotlight just yet. Like, I need the kids to be a little bit more advanced because I'm 6'2" and I have a high release. Like, that ball's coming downhill at you.
Do it on your knee.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
Why?
Because guess what? I don't think I'm going to be able to tell the pitcher that I'm facing in 3 years, hey, I need you to throw from your knee, please, sir. When I go to kid pitch,
fair enough.
I'm just being honest. Like, I'm going to throw strikes.
When you go to kid pitch, it's going to be the same angle, by the way, because he's going to be 4-4.
Great, and it's going to be coming a lot harder than how I'm throwing it. Maybe, unless I get mad.
You just completely reverted from let the kid win every now and then, dad, to we have to dominate them. I'm Randy Johnson.
I'm not ready to dominate them. They're on my team. I want to pitch strikes, but I'm not going to get on a knee and pitch. They just ain't happening. I'm sorry, I'm not. That's too beta. Just can't do it. Not saying that anyone listening that does.
You just said it.
You said it. Stand by it. It's all good.
It's true.
It's all good.
It's true.
Isn't the goal to allow your team to hit the ball well?
Correct. I'm not pitching. That's why I've
decided. But you just said, like, if you're the guy who gets on a knee and pitches, like, what's your problem? But isn't the goal to give your kid the best chance to hit, not yours, but your team? So if you're on a knee and you can get on their level and get them a strike, wouldn't that be more advantageous for your team?
Yeah.
You're all over the place right now.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying I'm not going to sign up as the head coach for Coach Pitch Baseball because my release is too high and it will be too difficult for the kids to hit. And I will not adjust and get on a knee as a professional athlete that threw for a living. I'm not getting on a knee and throwing. I'm just not.
Okay.
That's just my pride's in the way there.
Got it.
So I will delegate that responsibility to somebody else, but I will coach YMCA basketball, which is super fun. We had a kid.
Today my kids asked me to snap in the ball. I was like, we ain't going gun.
We ain't going gun. Get under
there.
Well, that's not realistic. That's not realistic. The centers won't be that tall.
That's coming full circle, kid. By the time you get to high school, we're running wishbone again.
We really might. That's going to be really unfortunate for our kids. Anyways, we had a kid the other day that did we have 5 and 6 year olds. Half these kids can't, the level of the difference between a 6-year-old and a 5-year-old is a big difference.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's a really big difference. So, like, some of the kids are a little bit more advanced physically. They're a little older, they have an older sibling, whatever it may be. Like, some are really advanced. Some are still figuring it out, some are kind of still growing in their body. Some are a little awkward. Like, I was probably on the awkward end. I was a big kid as a young kid. But anyways, we have one kid that was he makes me laugh so hard. And he is so funny. And I told his dad yesterday, I was like, this kid is an unapologetic alpha. This dude does not care. He is going to dominate regardless of what the circumstances were. And he decided as the point guard the other day, telling him, hey, pass to Charlie. Hey, pass to, pass to Wade, pass to Vince, pass whoever, tell them kind of directing traffic because that's what you do as a coach. You're on the court. You want to make sure everybody gets a look, right? Everybody gets a touch. Well, he decides to go between the legs dribble. Okay. Step back, between the legs again, step back again, full shot from about half court. And it doesn't really get close to making it. It would have been an impossible shot for a 5 or 6 year old. It's like a half court jumper, but he swagged it out and was like falling back like Steph, and then was giving people high fives, dapping people up down the court. It was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. I have still laughed out loud about that shot, about that possession, at least no less than 9 times in the last 72 hours. It was the greatest moment in YMCA basketball history.
Sometimes you have to celebrate creativity and imagination.
It was amazing. Exactly. It was amazing.
I'm fine with it. I'd have been
best
fine
part
with
is the best part is the kids playing defense are in those green boxes in the paint. So he's stepping back from guys that can't leave the box.
Even better.
He's creating separation.
That's it.
It's called strategy,
That's
Greg.
it. Like, they can't
He's trying to cross up a guy that can't move.
What do we always say offenses should do that they never do? Take what the defense gives you.
That's true.
You know what the defense is giving you?
Golly,
everything outside of that box.
Good. Youth sports is just so much fun. It is so fun right now.
Hey guys, you know what the defense is giving you here? The entire perimeter. Take something there.
Take it.
I love it.
Take it.
We'll try to get kids shots, and then they dribble right into those guys. I'm like, that's you know what? If that's where you want to go, you go. Go right into it. Just get in there.
It's just the greatest. Youth sports has me on such a high right now, man. It's like you are on cloud 9. Usually you're depressed for a month after the season, which is not untrue. It takes me
it's a reacclimation period is what my wife calls it. And she said it's about a 2 to 3 week period that you just are not normal and you become very frustrated with everyday things because they have not been everyday things to you. And it's the same thing I go through. Yeah. It's like, what do you mean this? What do you mean that? And it's like, we have such a routine. Like somebody asked me the other day, like, how do you do your schedule in the fall? And I was like, you don't have a choice.
Yeah, what?
It's the next thing to the next thing to the next thing to the next thing to the next thing. And it forces you, it's almost a forced routine. It's not even a routine by choice. You have to go do this, then you have to go do that. And then you have this, and then you have that. And it forces you to be into a routine. And then all of a sudden it just stops.
Yeah.
And we get out of here at 10 a.m. and kind of got time. And there's no time for the longest football season of our lives. And now we have time.
Yes.
And it's hard to just say, what do you mean do that? What do you mean this? So yeah, my wife named it the reacclimation period a while back, and it's extremely accurate.
I love it.
It takes a little time.
It is. This is the first year though I haven't felt like a little hint of depression. Not like depressed for real depressed, but like the acclimation period. I think I've skipped it this year. I'm like on cloud 9 with like fun stuff that our kids were doing as a family. Yesterday, riding bikes, and while it was annoying having to carry 17 moving vehicles up the hill, it was worth it. It was absolutely worth it. So super fun, but I don't know why we went down that rabbit hole. What took us? Oh, you were in a dark spot. You were in a dark spot this morning. Or you were in a, no, you were.
No, like you just started talking about you.
Yeah, he said he's struggling this morning.
No, I don't feel great. So, yeah, just got a little congestion.
Flu game?
Trying to
Flu game.
Okay.
Here, hold on a second. Let me pull this up.
I think your flu is a fugazi.
We are in the middle of flu season. Make your home healthier with Change Clean Effects Home Air Cleaner. Removes up to 99.9% of airborne particles, including those that cause virus. 100 times more effective than standard air filters. 8 times more effective than HEPA filters. Find a dealer near you at train.com. It's hard to stop a train. The Unhipster tweets in at Mac and Cube. Pitching from an E works for the kids, but increases the chance of catching a line drive in the junk. Trust me, I've gotten 4-year-old has given me plenty of those in the yard.
I'm about to say that scares me a lot more than striking out kids. Take him one right back. A little comebacker. That's a scary thought.
Jamie Bailey says, good morning. Good morning, Jamie. Louis DeArmond. Listen, Louis, I'm with you here. I don't know how this is going to go, man. I'm just trying things because sometimes you got to try things. And it's like Greg's kid going the double between the legs, fade away when nobody can defend him. Sleight of hand on the radio, constantly pushing the envelope of morning radio, #innovative. It might be terrible to have a magician in here doing card tricks in the 9 o'clock hour. It might be incredible. We are on YouTube, by the way, so you can watch it. Search Jocks 945 and just watch on YouTube.
First of all,
but I promise
me and Cole
you,
will be entertained.
We'll get everybody else in here. That's here for the next show. Haney can come in here.
No,
Brian
let's not get
can walk
carried
down.
away. Brian can come in.
It's more than just seeing what the Cards are doing though. Like he's got some really cool stories about. He's going to work for David Blaine, by the way. So that's pretty sweet in and of itself. He's moving to Vegas tomorrow.
Oh wow.
Where's he going to live? The Aria?
You can ask that question.
I'm going to ask him.
Okay.
I did not intrude right into, hey, give me your address.
I'm going to come visit.
You coming? We coming. Didn't get to that point yet. Maybe he'll share that with us in the 9 o'clock hour. Patton Gilliard from Vestavia, magician.
From the Stav?
Said he started at 8.
What?
And some of the stuff that he will do today will absolutely just blow your mind. He's incredible. But his delivery is great. He has... I promise you, it'll be more than just if you see the tricks or whatever is going to impress you. I don't know. And maybe, you know what, Lewis? Maybe it'll be dumb.
I hope
and everyone can blame me. And you can all tweet it and say, Cole is an idiot for trying to pull this off on radio. Because you say it every day anyway. So who cares? I don't care. I'm in the middle of don't care season. Just like I told my 4-year-old last night. I don't care.
Does Train have a solution for that?
Let me see.
No, that's your Game Day Men's Health.
Oh.
Game Day Men's Health cares. If you're feeling on edge, if you're lacking sleep, could be the effects of low testosterone. Guys who are experiencing that can get help right now at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Schedule a free consultation, get a free PSA test, free testosterone test, and all the services that they offer. Save 10% when you mention Cube when you walk in the front door at Game Day Men's Health. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Locker room environment, low stress, not going to try to press you in anything. They have weight loss programs, by the way. Save 10% on those by mentioning Cube. Holistic approach to health and wellness. See what Game Day Men's Health can do for you at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. They do care. I don't care. I care enough to bring Brandon Marcello onto the show, though, and tell us why Jim Knowles left Ohio State and what he thinks about Ryan Grubb moving into Alabama right after this on Mac and Cube in the morning. When I think Brandon Marcello, I think Brett the Hitman Hart. And that's how we will welcome him in to the show this morning. A little bit behind due to listeners questioning our tactics here on the show. Not by booking you, Brandon, but by having a magician in studio in the 9 o'clock hour. Folks think that I will fail miserably by doing so. We will find out. We will not fail by talking college football with you. Article up now, Brandon, on Jim Knowles' exit at Ohio State. Some of the details lurking out of this, it's beginning to seem like it's pretty ugly. It may be ugly on both sides, he and both Ohio State. What were some of the real reasons you feel like he decided to exit the national champions and go work for Penn State?
Yeah, I don't know if it was necessarily ugly. I just think that it was a marriage that was very clear that just needed to end there at Ohio State. Jim Knowles was very much if you know him, he's kind of a loner in a lot of ways. His favorite thing to do when he's at work is to lock himself in his office. And when people know that door is shut, they know not to bother him. He goes in there, does his work. When he's having to develop a game plan, he's doing so by himself, and he kind of emerges with this magical scheme or whatever they got to do for the week. And the players are kind of, not to say they're waiting outside the door, but they're kind of waiting to see when that door opens, because that usually means he's done and they've got their game plan and ready to go, or he's been working on something else. But, midway through the season this year, right after that on the road, that's when things kind of changed a little bit. Ryan Day, the head coach there at Ohio State, of course, started poking his head a little bit more into the defensive meeting room. Jim Knowles is a guy that, his defense is obviously multiple, but there was a lot of things that he was unable to run there at Ohio State, because when he was first hired, he was told, listen, we're a 4-down defense. We always have been at Ohio State. That's what we're going to do. And so Jim had to adjust to them more so than they had to adjust to him. And he did a good job with it. He loves the jack position. Barely got to use that. He did a little bit this season, but he did his job. He turned that defense around, got them to a national championship game, number 1 scoring defense in the country. They won it. And then after everything that happened this season, and then he started getting more suitors, Penn State, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, and Ohio State didn't really show a tremendous interest in keeping him. And you combine all of what I just said with that, in addition to Penn State going all in on this upcoming season to win a national championship, much like Ohio State did last year, and the Buckeyes are losing 8 starters from that crazy good defense, including everybody along the defensive line. Jim Knowles, a man who doesn't stick around most places more than 4 years, decided that he had enough and that he was going to go to State College.
Was he butting heads with Larry Johnson? Because there's a lot of speculation about the famed and long-standing defensive line coach there at Ohio State, universally respected with what he was asking the defensive line to do. Sounds like that played a pretty significant role. Is that accurate?
Yes, and I should have mentioned that as well, that, Larry Johnson, the defensive line coach there, as you said, has been there a very long time, and before that was at Penn State for a long time, teaches and coaches his defensive linemen a certain way that don't necessarily go along with what Jim Knowles wants to do, and Jim had to adjust to that too. Again, Jim went into a situation where he was adjusting more to things than they were adjusting to him, and he's had to do that over the course of 3 seasons, but even when there were some certain things he wanted to change, it was very much understood that he couldn't do that, especially when it came to anything along that defensive line because of Larry Johnson's tenure, so to speak, and his belief in kind of keeping the way things have been there at Ohio State. So, yeah, I do think very much based off the sources I've talked to there, that is true, that they didn't, quote unquote, see eye to eye, Larry Johnson and Jim Knowles.
Is there a portion of this, by the way, the locking yourself in your office and trying to get things done? I tried that at home often. That does not work. Is there a portion of the long-term assistants at Ohio State that at some points becomes a little bit of a net negative. I mean, the first thing that I think about is like Auburn before you covered Auburn. And there was a little bit of carryover when you did cover Auburn of a little bit of this.
Yeah.
But sometimes when these assistants are around for so long, they begin to have a little bit too much say because they know the power brokers and have that relationship. And let's just be real. They know how to get things done and who to go talk to.
You're exactly right. I do think there is some concern with that, even among the Ohio State fans. I would say that I don't think Larry Johnson is necessarily as beloved as he was even 2 years ago, let alone over the last year. Because this is stuff that's been leaking out for the better part of 4 or 5 years. And I think what it takes for change to happen like that, Cole, and you've seen it over the years, is that you have to see that directly negatively impact them on the field before maybe a change is made and that push is made. And the thing is with Ohio State, you're not going to see a lot of negatives, even though that the pressure there is so high. It's like national championship or bust nowadays. But the defense hasn't been an issue, especially up front these last few years. And, you know, if other coordinators just keep rotating in and out there and the one constant is the defensive line coach, but they're still performing well, you're not going to see a change. You're going to have to see something where it's very clear and obvious that he's doing something that is very much helping them lose games rather than win games. And it's very difficult to do when you're at a place that wins a lot of games and has a lot of success. And, you know, Ohio State's not the only program where, you know, there's a veteran on their staff or has been on their staff that sticks around and maybe does so longer than they should be. But as you said, they're so ingrained in the culture and also with the boosters and everybody that it's very hard to remove them.
When you look at where Ohio State could go for not just the defensive coordinator, but the offensive coordinator, there's a lot of speculation that offensive coordinator could be Jason Candle from Toledo. I haven't seen as much on defensive coordinator yet, but I'm curious if you've got any inkling as to where these searches could lead.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Jason Candle. They had him on their list a year ago. And if you guys remember, Jason Candle very nearly went to Miami a few years ago, to be offensive coordinator. So certainly he's someone that I would expect they're probably going to circle back around on and at least check in on potentially. Other guys to keep in mind, Kevin Wilson, the former head coach at Tulsa, who's been at Ohio State before, has called plays, obviously, and has worked alongside Ryan Day for 6 or 7 years, I believe, in the past. I also think that there's a possibility here that they look into the NFL. I know very early on, before Chip Kelly took the job at the Raiders, there was some talk that if he leaves, that they had some interest in exploring a professional coach, an NFL coach, to maybe come on board. But I haven't heard names, and that honestly has kind of quieted down just in these last few days since Chip officially took that job. Defensive coordinator is going to be very interesting to watch. I don't have a lot of names there, but also the other thing to keep in mind with the OC situation is, you know, we talk about staffers who've been around a while, assistant coaches. Well, one of those guys hasn't been there a while, but he's an up-and-comer, Ryan Hartline. You know, a couple of years ago, they named him the quote-unquote OC, even though he wasn't calling plays. Ryan Day was calling plays at the time. And then a year ago, Ryan Day decides, hey, I'm going to give up play calling. I got to focus on being a head coach. And so instead of just handing it over to Brian Hartline, which was the heir apparent, he went and hired Chip Kelly. And now that he has this opening now, some people will say that now it's time for Brian Hartline to take over, but there's some thought there that that's not what's going to happen. So how do you keep Brian Hartline happy? I think that's a big undercurrent to all this. And why is that? Well, he's the one who's mostly responsible for getting Jeremiah Smith, maybe the best receiver in the country, on campus. And he's the reason why he is stuck around even when all these people are tampering and trying to get him to enter the transfer portal. So in a lot of ways, you got to make sure you keep Brian Hartline happy, because not only is he important for you having a guy like Jeremiah Smith on your roster, but he's also one of their top recruiters going in the future.
Not to mention the laundry list of other high-profile receivers he's brought to campus. I want to ask you quickly before we let you run about Alabama, bringing in Ryan Grubb to be the offensive coordinator. We know the history between Grubb and DeBoer, but How does that change your opinion on what this team can possibly be in 2025?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not to say that I had low expectations, but it lifts them up a little bit in my eyes. Listen, he just is a great schemer. We all know that, what he did at Washington. He's going to run a little bit more condensed formations to try and help that run game at times. They were so good on third down at Washington and at previous spots when he coached alongside Kalen DeBoer. So this is a guy that just kind of knows how to move the ball in tough situations for you, whether it's through the pass game or through the run game, obviously. And I think just that working connection and being able to trust a guy that you've worked with for the better part of the last 17 to 18 years, there's a connection there that you don't even have to say something to each other. Sometimes it's just a look that's going to help them out. And yeah, I'm fascinated to watch that quarterback battle and the spring and going into the summer. Ty Simpson's the guy everybody expects, but man, I'm fascinated. I don't know about you guys. I want to see Austin Mack a little bit. I haven't seen him all that much. I want to see how he kind of fits in the system with Ryan Grubb.
It'll be interesting to watch that, as well as just kind of some of the other positions and how they transition into some guys that left and some guys that might be coming into the program. Brandon, great stuff as always. We'll link that story out so people can go read it on Jim Knowles' exit from Ohio State. Always appreciate your time, man.
Appreciate you, Cole. Appreciate you, Greg.
There you go. Brandon Marcello joining us on the Buyers Right Hotline, discussing some college football coaching moves. And I don't know, Greg, the more that he was sitting there describing that, I just thought some of the Auburn stuff I'm referencing was a little before your time, but then there was some that happened not too long ago. And it's not just Auburn that things like this take place. I mean, there are schools all over that certain assistants, they stick around for a long time.
It's not an uncommon occurrence.
All of a sudden, the head coach and the coordinators, they don't have that relationship with the big power brokers because those guys have been there for 12, 15, 20 years.
It's not uncommon. None of this is uncommon. None of this is concerning. And I think it's even heightened now more so than it was back in the day, because if you are closely tied or if you have a really good relationship with the guys making the decisions on NIL, that's only going to further secure your sitting as a coach. Like Larry Johnson's really tight, I'm sure, with a lot of guys that are writing big checks, and he can use leverage against the university and against some of his other coaches. I'm not saying he did. I'm saying he can. So I think it's just an interesting, another angle, another layer of what's become a really interesting world that we cover on a week-to-week basis.
There's no doubt. It's just so many different things happening in college football right now. We'll continue talking about it on the other side. There's also an Ohio State tradition that I heard about that I wanted to ask you about, if you have heard of, if you knew that was a real thing. We'll discuss that next on Mac and Cube in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. I mentioned that I talked to Seth McLaughlin over the weekend. He was on the podcast this week. Just big fan of him. And God, some of the comments coming out on the interview are just gross. But did you realize that there was this? Sometimes I think we get so consumed here in the SEC. And listen, the SEC is awesome. It's the best. It's the best football conference. It's the best fans. It's the best stadiums. I will never not believe that. And we love to hate more than we love to love. It's what separates us from everybody else. But there are some things about other places that we just don't know. We've never learned about them, never been educated on them. He was telling us that there is this tradition because we were talking about leadership and different things. And I was asking about what he accomplished. And he was consensus All-American this year. And he said, at Ohio State, he was talking to Greg about how he's like, I still think you can be a leader if you're not a captain or not named a captain. He's like, I didn't expect to be named a captain. I came in here for 1 year. Like these guys have been here 4 and 5 years. I shouldn't have been a captain.
Yeah.
But he said, when you're a consensus All-American at Ohio State, you get a Buckeye tree outside the stadium. And he said, they send one for you to plant at your house also. And he said, so one of the cooler things because I asked him, I said, was there an Ohio State guy that you wanted to meet or a player that you kind of looked up to? And he's like, listen, man, I grew up in Beaufort, Georgia. I was pretty obsessed with like Georgia, Bama, Tennessee. He didn't mention Auburn, by the way, which I thought was interesting. He's like, I watched SEC football growing up. Like that was it. Like Florida, South Carolina. I watched it and I was like, I get it, dude. I grew up in Birmingham. Like I know what it is. And he said, but this was just beyond cool. He said, so you have your Buckeye tree.
Yeah.
I guess there's like this little miniature forest garden outside the stadium. And he said, what the guys will do is like Archie Griffin will come back or AJ Hawk will come back and they'll go scoop up the Buckeyes under the tree when they're going into the game and hand them out to fans. And so you got one of Archie Griffin's Buckeyes or you got one of AJ Hawk's Buckeyes or Joey Galloway's Buckeyes. And I was like, man, that's pretty sweet.
Very cool.
I didn't know that was a real thing. I didn't know they did that.
Never heard of that.
It's just one of those little, and we could talk about Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee, Florida, and probably name 100 of those things, but we just don't know about them in a lot of other places. And I was like, man, that is just one of the cool traditions in college football that's out there that a lot of us don't know about that we love about this sport so much.
Very cool. And what's funny is I would never have done that in a million years. The other thing that's cool about some of this stuff, man, I'm so amazed by people's traditions, right? Like some of these traditions are just so freaking awesome. They really are. And I think it's easy to get caught in your own little silo. Believe me, I do. I never knew anything about anything when I started in this business 10, 12 years ago, 10, 11 years ago. Because all I ever knew was Alabama. I only went one place. I went and lived and enjoyed and experienced one place. And then when you're on the road as a player, dude, I mean, you're not there. You're not there.
See those things.
Yeah, you're not getting to experience and see. And so I bet you there's more traditions that I've forgotten about in Alabama, that are also incredible, but it's really...
Well, a lot of those things become routine.
Well, it's just routine. You don't think about it. You don't view it as special because it's your everyday.
Right.
But I would love to kind of maybe go back and maybe revisit with some friends or, over
you're going to take your kids to see your footprints at Denny Chimes. My kids have already seen...
I've actually never done that.
Well, no, you will, though. And my kids have seen my brick for being a permanent captain at Auburn outside the stadium. I don't know if they remember it or not. My daughter probably does, but I don't know if the boys do. They were pretty young when that happened.
Yeah.
But those are cool things that we'll always be able to talk about. And I mean, imagine you go and, because I asked him, I said, what's it going to be? Is it going to be Ohio State? Is it going to be Alabama? And you can go, here's the answer if you want to. It's a great answer. But he's like, I mean, imagine taking your kids and you get to go up to your tree, you scoop up some of those Buckeyes and they take them. That's just, I mean, that's one of those college football traditions that's really cool. That we've got a million of them in a lot of different places, but I did not know that was a real thing and did not know that they did that. And pretty cool to hear that they did. Pretty cool to get our top three. What do you have for us when we come back?
I have something good for you today.
Top three from Greg McElroy next on Mac and Cube in the morning. 7:50, Tuesday, February 4th. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. We'll move on to our top three here in just a moment. But if you're moving out of your home, Greg, who do listeners need to call?
It'd be Crocker Moving Service, a local company owned by an Iraq War veteran, Eric Crocker. Crocker believes in hiring movers you can trust to complete full background checks and run drug tests on every single employee. These are good guys, and you can trust them in your home. Whether you need your whole home packed to move your company headquarters moved across the country, or you just want them to come rearrange your living room, these guys got you covered. They also do deliveries for furniture that you've purchased and need to get to your home. So call or visit them online today for a free quote. The website's CrockerMovingServices.com. That's CrockerMovingServices.com. Support your veterans by choosing Crocker Moving Services for your next move.
All right, we bring you our top three each and every day. We rotate as to who is going to bring it to you. Sports, not sports. Greg, what's on tap for the top three today?
Talked about it a little bit earlier. Today might be a little bit tricky for Damien, but he can use his imagination. Top three moments that you've had as a dad as it relates to backyard sports. So it can be anything, even as you're a kid, like anything, top three backyard sport moments.
All right. Number three is going to be, I told you about the 4-year-old yesterday, how he can actually run and move a little bit now. He's not just kind of like, looks like a penguin kind of, waddling around the bases. He had one where he's coming into second and he stopped because I think he has seen me pull this off with the 7-year-old, and they threw the ball past him. Then he rounds second, gets to third, ducks, the ball goes over him, and then runs home and actually scores. And
That's
it was
legit.
I was like, all right, he like has a feel for, kind of what to do, how to operate that. 7-year-old in backyard football, I was all-time QB a couple weeks ago. Actually, 4-year-old's pretty decent in coverage. Like, he knows how to stick with him for some reason. I don't know how he knows how to like cover and whatever, but
Cooper
DB,
DeJean. Cooper DeJean.
100%.
there was a one-handed reach
Harrison Smith.
snag.
Reed Blankenship.
His brother mossed him on a one-handed catch. That would be number two. Number one was actually Sunday. My buddy Garrett came over after, this was Saturday afternoon because we did basketball in the morning, and his son stayed and watched my kids' basketball game. Then they came over to the house and we were playing backyard baseball with the kids. I had these little, I don't know how to describe them. They're like canvas sandbag baseballs. So they barely go anywhere. Like the kids,
you hit 'em?
the 7-year-olds can hit them and they won't go more than like 10 yards.
Really?
You can pound them and they just.
So is it like the modern day wiffle ball?
No, because you can hit them hard and you can get like a line drive with them. No, they don't. They're made to be hit. But there's a little trash talk when my son decided he wanted to pitch.
No.
And may have put one out of our yard over the next yard and deep into the next yard.
Attaboy.
To just kind of teach him a lesson. Yeah, I had to do it. Yeah. And they were just like, I didn't, the kids were like, I didn't think they went that far. And I was like, we can actually do more. If you would like next at bat, I'll show you.
Wow.
We can go into the 4th yard down if you need us to. But that would be number one backyard moment for me with kids. Sometimes you got to put them in their place and let them know.
I'd say that's a good one. All right. So number one for me, Vince, the first time he ever caught a football in the air, he was probably 3. Dude, you would have thought
it's a big moment.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. You would have thought, and he probably missed 40 before he caught the first one. But seeing him catch it for the very first time is something that I will never forget. Ever, ever, ever forget. Second, Vince, coach pitch baseball. We were playing T-ball at the time, and we were doing coach pitch, and in our front yard, we have like a magnolia to the right. And it's actually a pretty good baseball field because if you hit it into the street, that's a home run. It's like kind of a short porch in left field. And my oldest is a righty, so it works. The first time he hit it, he didn't just hit it into the street. He hit it across the street. Now, was it lucky? To an extent.
Wind aided?
I don't know if it was wind aided, but it was 3 times longer than the best hit he ever had before that. But to see the reaction with that was incredible. And then number 3, JG, typical second child. All right. Typical second child. Me and Vince are playing catch. We're playing baseball. We have 4 different sports going in the front yard at all times. Like, he's all in. He loves sports. Meanwhile, JG's over there hitting real golf balls, taking divots.
Love it.
Out of
why not?
And he's a lefty, swinging a right-handed club.
Yeah.
Hitting lefty
Just
with the
digging down in
backside of the golf club, just divot after divot. And we have now filled those divots, but you can still see them. And I think about it every single time I'm on the street. So those are my 3 favorite moments in the yard playing sports in the last handful of years.
Damien, I don't know where you go on that one, but future backyard moments.
Yeah, I kind of went with like moments with my dad in the backyard.
Exactly, that's what we're looking for.
Number 3, and one of them is actually dealing with my niece. I found out my niece is left-handed. My middle niece is left-handed. We were shooting in the backyard. She picks up the ball opposite hand from what I taught her, and I was like, okay, well, that's a little different.
That is an eye-opening experience, and you get the surprise lefty.
Exactly. Number 2, me and my dad in the baseball, playing baseball in the backyard. I raked a couple over his head, and he realized like, hey, you can't just serve me up on that one.
Okay.
And my number 1 moment, I was in the 4th grade. It was, I think, with the rim was at 7 feet. I yammed on my daddy one time.
Stop.
Oh yeah, above the rim.
He told you it was 7. It was really 5.
Yeah, either way, he got.
It was a
dunked
little
on.
tykes, but it somehow went to 7. I don't know.
He got dunked on.
Andy Bertram next. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning, 8 a.m., hour number 2 underway. Huge win on the road for the Auburn basketball team over the weekend. We will revisit that and preview tonight's matchup with Oklahoma with the voice of the Auburn Tigers, Andy Bertram, and he joins us each and every week thanks to our friends at Craneworks. Andy, always glad to have you in on a Tuesday. Really nice win on the road against a good Ole Miss basketball team. And I think one of the things that continues to impress me about this Auburn team, Bruce Pearl's team, is they find ways to win games in different ways. And I think we know in just about any sport, if you rely on the home run or if you rely on passing yards or if you rely on the three-point shot, somebody's going to get you at some point. You're not going to be able to do that each and every week. But this team seems to be able to morph their styles based on their opponents and still find ways to be successful.
Well, you look at a week and a half ago against Tennessee and in a rock fight of a game, Auburn won the game with this defense in a game that was in the 50s. And then Auburn goes on the road a week later and goes to Ole Miss, third biggest crowd ever at the Pavilion. The students were in the stands 2 hours before game time. It was a great atmosphere in Oxford, and that's a good Ole Miss team. Bruce Pearl thinks it's the best Ole Miss team that he has faced as a head coach in the SEC. And a back and forth game early, and then Auburn took the lead, and each time, especially in the second half, that Ole Miss made a run and got within one or got within two and had a possession with a chance to tie the game or take the lead, Auburn came up with a defensive stop. And then on the offensive end, Auburn came up with an answer. And a lot of that was the three-point shooting on Saturday. Miles Kelly and Chad Baker-Mazara and Denver Jones and Tahad Pettiford. And then Janai Broome just did what he has done all season long and dominated play on the inside. And then Dylan Cardwell added a double-double as well. His second of the season, his second in his career at Auburn. And Auburn won a game scoring 92 points, giving up 82, which I'm sure did not thrill the head coach, but still a big, big win for Auburn to go 8-0 in SEC play and now 20-1 on the season and get ready for a pair of home games, the first of which is tonight at Oklahoma, and our coverage on the Auburn Sports Network tonight begins at 7:30. Should be another sellout crowd at Neville Arena. Folks are excited for Auburn to be back in town and an Oklahoma team that brings some momentum into the game tonight.
When you look at what Auburn was able to do from the perimeter and the perimeter shooting, I know they're not going to necessarily be a volume three-point shooting team. That's not who they've been, especially when you don't have a low post presence like Janai Broome. But Janai Broome's now proven the opportunity, the ability to be able to stretch it as well. What do you make of the performance there? And is that something that you think we'll see more of from Auburn down the stretch?
I think it is the best three-point shooting team at Auburn since the Final Four team in 2019. And you have more options with the three-pointer this year even than you did in 19, because in 19, basically it was Jared Harper and Bryce Brown, and they're two of the best three-point shooters in Auburn history. Bryce Brown is the best in Auburn history. But with Auburn now, when a team is able to double, and we saw Janai Broome triple teamed at times Saturday in Oxford, and he has the ability now to find Miles Kelly or Denver Jones or Chad Baker-Mazara, even Todd Pettiford on the perimeter. And there have been times in the past where Auburn had open looks, and I'm talking about past seasons, not this year, where Auburn had open looks at three and just didn't knock them home. This team has shown the ability, when it gets the open look, more times than not, it's going to knock that home. And Saturday was the best example of it I've seen all season long. Auburn answered every run that Ole Miss made, and primarily did it with the three-point shot. Now, there were a couple times that Chad Baker-Mazara took the ball to the basket and got a big old-fashioned three-point play, same for Janai Broome. And Janai Broome Janai Broome scored over 20 points in the ballgame, averaged over 20, a double-double last week, the SEC Player of the Week, National Player of the Week. But Janai didn't get his first basket of the second half until late in the second half. It was those perimeter guys that led Auburn in that ball game in the second half. And I just think that bodes well for Auburn. Is this an Auburn team that's going to go out and get 14 threes a game? Probably not. I'm not sure it needs to, but it has that ability this season. When in years past, it didn't have the consistent ability to knock home the three. This team does.
What do we need to know about Oklahoma tonight, Andy? You'll be on the call, Auburn Arena, 8 p.m.
Really good. Yeah, really good offense for Oklahoma. And they're led by Jeremiah Fears, a freshman guard out of Joliet, Illinois. that reclassified, was originally a 25 recruit, but reclassified and went to Oklahoma and is averaging 16 points a ball game. Really, really good freshman point guard. But the guy that I'm really interested in is a local guy, Jalen Moore, who's from Birmingham and played 2 years of basketball at Georgia Tech. As a matter of fact, he played those 2 years with Miles Kelly at Georgia Tech, and then transferred to Wofford, played 1 year there, and then transferred to Oklahoma. Or excuse me, did not play for Wofford. Transferred from Tech to Oklahoma. Sam Godwin transferred from Wofford. But he's kind of an undersized 5. He's 6'7", but he's averaging 18 points and 6 rebounds a game, and is the leading scorer in SEC play in league games at 19 points a game. The top 2 scorers in SEC games this year will be duking it out, so to speak, on the low post. Jalen Moore for Oklahoma and Janai Broome for Auburn. I mean, it's going to be a fascinating battle because Auburn is bigger on the inside than Oklahoma. Auburn was bigger than Ole Miss, and I thought it really paid off for the Tigers. But this is an Oklahoma team that comes in and really relies on its offense. I mean, it's scoring 80 points a game. It's giving up 70 points a ball game coming in. But you know, they fell behind early and big at home to Vanderbilt on Saturday, then came roaring back and put Vanderbilt away. And that's a Vanderbilt team that we all know is a team, I think, that is vying for an NCAA tournament bid, like this Oklahoma team, a team that is receiving votes in the AP poll, is mid-30s in both the NCAA net and the Ken Pom rating. Porter Moser is in his 4th season there after taking Loyola Chicago to a Final Four, that magical run. So this is a really good Oklahoma team that comes in here, and it will be tested. It will test Auburn's defense, which is, according to one of the matrices out there right now, the T rank is the second best defense when playing at home behind only Houston this season. So good on good, the Oklahoma offense against the Auburn defense.
When you look at the results of last weekend, doesn't appear like a shakeup is necessarily imminent. You've seen LSU, you've seen some other teams already this year. I look at just some of the quality that is even at the bottom of the SEC with what we saw from Arkansas going to Rupp and just really wearing out a Kentucky team throughout the course of that game. Now, that might be a, hey, let's go win one for the Gipper type of moment. But it also might be a sign of things to come. So as you survey the bottom of the league, and Oklahoma currently resides in that quadrant of the league from a record standpoint at just 3-5, is there anyone that concerns you?
They all concern me, and I look at Oklahoma's offense coming in here tonight. In spite of what happened to Florida last week at Tennessee, I think this Florida team, out of the top 3 in this league, which are Auburn, Alabama, at this point, I think Florida is another of those teams that have a shot at making a Final Four run. I really do. But listen, Auburn still has to go to Alabama. Auburn still has to go to Vanderbilt. And those are the 2 games for Auburn next week. Back-to-back games at Vanderbilt, where they have won already this year at home against the likes of Kentucky and Tennessee. And then Auburn goes to Alabama in a game that may be, and I know this is 3 games down the road for Auburn, may be for first place in the Southeastern Conference. And that's going to be a crazy atmosphere, we know, at Coleman Coliseum. Auburn still has to go to Kentucky at this point. Every one of Auburn's games from here on out, guys, every one is either a quad 1 game or a quad 2 game for Auburn. And this is an Auburn team that already has 13 quad 1 wins this year. As Bruce Pearl mentioned last week, Auburn had 1 of those going into the SEC tournament last year. 1. Auburn has 13 of those already this season, and every game from here on out is either a quad 1 or a quad 2 game. That's how good the Southeastern Conference is, top to bottom.
It's wild to think about. One of the things, too, that this team, I think, has that's a little bit different is depth in certain areas, specifically size. How much has Dylan Cardwell improved this year, just overall his game? I mean, he was – I just felt like he was kind of a spark plug, energy guy, fun guy, gave you some minutes late. But it feels like multiple portions of his game have really been rounded out this year.
I think one of the things that Dylan has improved upon the most this season is staying out of foul trouble. Now, he's going to get his fouls. He plays physical brand of basketball in the low post. But he has done a better job this year of staying out of foul trouble. And remember, a year ago, Auburn experimented just a couple of times with its twin towers in the game at the same time, Janai Broome and Dylan Carter. A year ago, Dylan basically was the backup to Janai coming in. This year, they have started every game together except for the 2 games that Janai didn't start. Well, actually 3, 2 that he didn't play in, and then the one game, Tennessee, that he actually did play but came in, off the bench. So he has accepted his role as a starter this year and is a better offensive threat. He's never going to be, I don't think, at least at Auburn, he's never going to be that double figure or double-double guy at Auburn. But Bruce Pearl thinks he's the best defensive player in the country because of his presence underneath and his ability to alter the game on the low post. And I think that's one of the reasons, I think Dylan's presence on the floor, guys, is one of the reasons that we haven't seen Janai Broome get into foul trouble this year as much, because Dylan is more of that factor for Auburn. And listen, as an off-the-floor leader, both of those guys, Dylan and Janai, are terrific in that role. And that's not something that a lot of fans get to see, and I get a glimpse of it because I'm around the team a little bit more. And they're not the only leaders on this ball club, but they are 2 of the big leaders, physically and figuratively, for this Auburn team as well.
Absolutely. Andy, we always appreciate the time. Great stuff as always. Thanks for stopping in. And we'll catch up with you again next week. We know each and every week you're brought to us by Craneworks.
And part of Craneworks is Wasteworks. It's a Craneworks company providing roll-off dumpster rentals in the Birmingham area with wide range of sizes and fast service. They're your local source for dumpster rentals. Visit wasteworksusa.com for a quote. Let me just add, I'm sure, to the congratulations for Mac and Cube as the #1 mid-morning show across the country, guys. Congratulations. It's well-deserved. It's well-deserved, well-earned.
Thank you, Andy.
Appreciate it, buddy.
You're a big part of why we have success. Appreciate you joining us every week.
My pleasure. My pleasure, guys. Have a great one.
War Eagle. War Eagle. Andy Burcham, voice of the Auburn Tigers, joining us on the Buyers Right Hotline. For all your insurance, financial, HR needs, it's Buyers Right Insurance, a Higginbotham partner. Stick with some college hoops. Auburn, Oklahoma tonight. What else on tap tonight? We'll tell you next on McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. About 10 minutes from now, Matt Miller will join us, give his latest mock draft coming off Senior Bowl, who he liked, what he saw, who made the biggest moves at the Senior Bowl. But also tonight last night you had Alabama State take out Florida A&M in men's basketball, 67-66. Alabama State 9-13, Florida A&M 8-12. North Texas goes down to UAB, 64-61. UAB 15-8. Lindenborg, guess what? Another double-double. Another one. Guy's just unbelievable and dominates the post. 15 double-doubles this season, tied for third most in Division I. He's done it in 5 straight games. That's tied for the longest active streak in Division I. He's a maniac. Unreal. We heard AK talking about just what a good teammate he was, what a good player he is, what he's a good guy to have in the locker room, had offers to leave. And UAB making their case now there in the American and putting together a strong year. Like AK told us yesterday, getting better throughout the course of the year, like still improving, still finding ways to win games and different guys stepping up at different times. But Lindenborg has been solid, steady throughout the course of this season. Some other college football news. West Alabama has a new head football coach and one that folks around these parts very familiar with. And it is former Alabama strength coach Scott Cochran. We all know what he's been through, Greg. We all know how he has persevered, battled back, and pretty cool to see him get this opportunity there at West Alabama. A proud football program, by the way. But he'll be the head coach. He'll get to run the show and brings obviously a lot of recognition with him, which is going to help. I mean, they were 9-2 last year, but somebody who I know you've had a lot of interaction with during your times at Alabama.
Yeah, and I love Coach Cochran. Think the world of him. I'm really happy that he's in the mix and back on the football field. He's had his own personal demons that he's had to conquer. I'm really, really proud of everything that he's done to try to, get on the other side of that. But I also I know that this has always been a dream of his to be a head coach, and it's been something that he's been working towards for a very long time. And I'm glad that he is now getting this opportunity. I'm excited to see what he does with it, and I'm glad to see it's back in the state where he's got some notoriety, got some name recognition, and at a program that's not that far removed from a lot of success.
Yeah, he's got he'll have those ties to be able to put together a good staff. I think also just being at LSU, being at Bama, being at Georgia, obviously a lot of relationships with a lot of guys that know how to coach and have been around the game for a long time. That'll help him in recruiting. Going to probably have to find a way to get, some people behind him from an NIL perspective to be able to help a little bit that way. But that name recognition, what he's done, and I think now the person that he is maybe more important than he was at Alabama, going to be able to help attract players. Those relationships are going to be pretty easy for him to build, and excited to see what he can do. We love football here in this state, and for him to get that opportunity at a program like that to see, how he can build it back, and it doesn't really need to be built back. Like I said, 9-2 last year. But pretty cool for him to get that opportunity. Some transfer portal news. Indiana gets a commitment from Notre Dame offensive lineman Pat Coogan, a guy that we watched play a lot of football this year, Greg. Really good player, solid player. And he'll join the Hoosiers to help sort of bolster that offensive line.
Well, Indiana's done a pretty good job in the portal. I think they'll come back to earth. They just lost so many veterans off last year's team. Now, handful of which are going to be back, handful of which are still in the mix, but most of which, some of their best players, including their quarterback, are gone. So I'll be curious to see how they handle it, but it's a good pickup. Indiana's making a commitment in football. Coogan, I think, did a good job under challenging circumstances last year, filling in after the third week for an injured Ashton Craig, but couldn't be guaranteed a spot to start next year, so wanted to go and get that somewhere. So makes sense to me.
It's going to be interesting to see kind of how Indiana falls up last year, because we know that was an amazing year. Nebraska gets a commitment from Notre Dame offensive lineman Rocco Spindler, another one that can play, and Nebraska slowly done a pretty good job in the portal this offseason as well.
Really good. I think Nebraska has quietly had a really nice offseason now. Will it matter? Will they be able to make up the gap and elevate to a potential playoff spot? I think that's the next step for their program, is to go from a mid 500, slightly above 500 team to a 9-win team. That's the next step. And the schedules, I know two things that I'm going to be looking at very closely this year. when it comes to evaluating these teams. I'm going to evaluate seniors, how many veterans are on rosters, how many collective starts do they have at that specific school. That matters. And I also am going to evaluate the schedule very closely. If you look at Nebraska's schedule, it's a tough one. It's a Big Ten schedule. They're all tough, but Nebraska's, I think, is maybe on the verge of being slightly tougher than that of some of the other programs that they'll be measured against. So it should be interesting, but Nebraska's quietly had a very solid year.
That's a team that a lot of people thought was going to make a big jump last year. Do you see them making that jump this year?
Well, they made a jump last year. I mean, I think there's a lot to be encouraged by. I mean, they finished above 500. They went to a bowl game for the first time in a million years. I think now it's about taking that next step. You got Michigan. What will Michigan be? You got Cincinnati. What will Cincinnati be? Both those games are at home. You go to Maryland. I think that's a tricky game. You go to Minnesota. I think that's a tricky game, but winnable. SC at home. I like SC this year. I think SC is quietly going to be quite good going into the season. I think they got solidarity at quarterback. I think defense another year under. They're going to have weapons.
So no, that's what I'm saying. They got weapons.
They're going to have weapons for sure. Then they're at Penn State. So I think there is some upward mobility for Nebraska as, one of those fringe top 25 teams next year. I think they're a team that's probably justified in having them in the preseason top 25. It's just, can they not lose the games that they've lost for the last 10 years? They always lose 2 or 3 that there's no reason why they should. And one of those examples would be last year losing to UCLA at home. I mean, just flat out can't happen under any circumstances. Gift wrapping a game and handing it to Illinois,
right,
at home, it can't happen. So I think that those are some of the things that I'd like to see the next step on. Until I do, it's hard to feel real confident they'll be able to do it.
Notre Dame announces their spring game will be April the 12th, and slowly April the 12th is becoming a very busy spring football game day. As we've had conversations this week about spring games potentially going away. So far, you have Florida, James Madison, Notre Dame, Southern Miss, Virginia Tech, Alabama, Auburn, App State, FAU, Georgia, LSU, Oklahoma, Pitt, Tennessee, and Weber State. Haven't seen the tape on Weber State. Don't know the network that one's going to air on. But that's a lot of spring games on April the 12th. A lot. Would you believe me if I told you that we are less than a month away from our first spring game?
I would, as long as the spring games are actually going to exist.
Saturday, March the 1st, Liberty will hold their spring football game. March the 1st.
Is that spring? The groundhog saw his shadow.
Yeah, but what did the possum say up on Sand Mountain? That's the only one I trust. I don't care about.
That's actually a good point.
I need to know what the possum said.
We don't play that Punxsutawney stuff.
Like him. Hawaii, March the 9th. April 5th, Clemson Citadel. And so the spring game schedule's starting to kind of come into play. April 26th is UAB. You'll also get Rutgers, USF, Lafayette, Tulsa, Arkansas State, Eastern Illinois on that day. And then Washington will wait until May the 2nd. Those are the dates that we have now for spring games coming up already. We will talk about the NFL draft, which takes place in the spring, with Matt Miller on the other side. First, Greg, tell our listeners what they need to know about Bromberg's.
Well, Bromberg's, especially with Valentine's Day coming up, is going to be a very popular spot. And I'm telling you, man, they have great options for you to go and purchase something for your loved one that will last a lifetime, and in some cases, multiple lifetimes. You're purchasing generational items when you shop at Bromberg's. It's the best selection and the best service. It's just a tremendous place to do business. So go and check them out in Mountain Brook Village in the Summit. Right now, they're preparing for their Vietri glass vase special coming up here on February 13th and 14th. You get a free bouquet of fresh flowers if you purchase a Vietri hibiscus glass vase on the 13th and 14th. The prices begin at $69, so they're a good, solid price point for a beautiful, handcrafted, import from Italy glass vase. These are really, really nice. It can also add a gold-plated heart charm to tie around your vase as well. Engraving will be offered for that heart charm, and you get a free bouquet of flowers if you go and purchase one of these beautiful Vietri vases at the Summit on February 13th, or on Valentine's Day, February 14th at Mountain Brook Village. Go see Brombergs today.
All right, when we come back, Matt Miller on Senior Bowl and NFL Draft. Has Jalen Milroe moved up or down? Where a couple other Auburn, Alabama players are next on Mac and Cube in the morning. None of us got that trivia question that we just saw on television. Last NFL sack champion to win a Super Bowl. Did you see it, Damian?
Nah. Von Miller?
That was Greg's guess. He said that was the obvious guess, and it was a good one, but it's not correct. Kevin Carter with the Rams. Kevin Carter ripped back in the day. Really good at Florida. Was good in the NFL. And
just so weird that it's been 25 years since the greatest show on turf.
Yeah, been a long time. That is odd. It's crazy to think about. What are teams doing through the draft to try to bring the greatest show on turf to their offenses? Matt Miller going to join us now on the Buyers Right hotline to discuss it. I want to go back to the Senior Bowl. You were there. You watched it. It felt like it was a roller coaster ride for Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe. Some people wowed. Some people disappointed. Felt like maybe that happened daily, up, down. Where was he for you going in, and where was he coming out?
Yeah, guys, appreciate me. I headed in. I think round 3. That's where I had him. Same going out. And like the Senior Bowl is so important. It really is. I've been doing this for 14 years now. I think I've learned not to overreact to quarterbacks at the Senior Bowl because, like, you're throwing to guys you just met. You're doing things like I'm watching guys take snaps under center, and they haven't done that maybe since high school. So it's also different. Or, listening to guys call a play in the huddle, something they haven't done in college. You're really put in a unfamiliar territory, which is great. Like it's fun. You love seeing that, but I try not to move guys up or down a whole lot based on the Senior Bowl. I don't think he particularly had a strong one. The inaccuracy was still there. Some of the lower body, base issues he has mechanically were still there. So I would say, like, it's fair to say I went into the Senior Bowl hoping that we would see improvements from what we saw in season. Those weren't there. He'll get another opportunity at the combine to throw. He'll get another opportunity at his pro day to throw. And he's got to show improvement. Like, that's the key. He's got to show that, transition from one spot to the next, that he is making that improvement.
What about his hand size? I never really thought much about it. I was a little surprised to hear 8 3/4. That is quite a bit smaller than I would have anticipated. I've shaken his hand. I just don't remember it. Like usually when you shake someone's hand, you remember, oh, that was unusually small. That was unusually large. Whatever the circumstance was, I don't remember it really triggering some type of response in my brain. So what do you think that is going to do to his evaluation?
I think it's one of those things where it's like it kind of matters, but it also doesn't. Like Patrick Mahomes has a 9-inch hand. It hasn't affected him in any way, right? So it's like I think you can look at the Michigan game and see some of the ball security issues and say, okay, is that why? Is that why that was an issue for him? And also, like, for me, McElroy was just smaller overall than I expected. 6'2" with an 8 3/4 inch hand. I didn't expect that. And I saw him in person 2 years ago, but I was up in the box, so I wasn't on field level, so I didn't get that chance to like kind of size him up. But he's smaller than you expect. I think that's something you have to factor into it. He's still ridiculously fast. He's still able to, do things on the edge as a runner that separate him from the other quarterbacks in this class. But I don't think the hand size grade is going to be a huge deal. It seems like teams have started to even kind of back off of that a little bit, that it's more of one of those old school scouting rules than a new school thing.
Matt Miller of ESPN joining us on the Buyers Right Hotline, NFL draft analyst. Jackson Dart feels like he's an interesting story coming off the Senior Bowl. A lot of folks went in saying, system product, can't make the throws. Then day one, snap issues. Yep, told you so. Then he just continues to wow people throughout the rest of the week. Did he climb your draft boards in a major way during Senior Bowl week?
No, no. I think what we're having happen, guys, is you get down around scouts and they say, hey, this kid could go late round 1. He could be QB3. Maybe he can be QB2. So I think what happens is you hear those things and then you're looking to validate those opinions. You want to see him have that huge week. I didn't think he had a bad week, but I also didn't think he had this transformative week where you're going to say, oh my gosh, we got to move this guy up because if he did X, Y, Z at the Senior Bowl. He had a good week. He really did. He did a lot of the same things that we've seen him do in person. I was at the Ole Miss Arkansas game this past year. That's his resume game. He was perfect in that game. He was flawless. So I guess having seen him in person before, especially seeing him play well in person, he does some nice things. He layers the ball well. He throws a really, really pretty deep ball. I did think he handled, being under center. There were some struggles early on with it. I thought he got better as the week went on. Same with calling plays in the huddle. You could tell that was foreign to him, but he got better as the week went on. So he had a good week. It definitely didn't hurt him at all, but I'm not buying the buzz that, gosh, he had such a great week, we got to move him up the board. I think if folks are moving him up the board, it's because they're catching up more to where teams have him ranked.
Makes sense. I think that there's just moments when I look at him that's a little bit like the LSU game's an example. Like he's late a lot. There's urgency issues, I think, from time to time where he's just a little bit too slow and methodical in his drop or how he gets ready to throw or how he surveys the field or he takes an extra hitch, maybe an extra 2 hitches before he delivers the ball. Like, I think that part of the infatuation with him is, one, I do think he is a guy that has a bit of a gravitational pull from a leadership standpoint. He's tough as nails. I appreciate those 2 qualities very, very much. But I also think to an extent, the draft class is that bad that people are desperate to find, all right, where's the diamond in the rough? So how much of the, I guess, overreaching on some of these guys that are maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, how much of it has to do with how good they are versus how bad this class might be?
I think it's a lot of how bad this class is. And we've seen that before. 2022, it was, who's going to come up there, and then Kenny Pickett went at like 22, and then Desmond Ridder went in the 3rd round. So it never happened. Like, no one ever got pulled up. So it is kind of fascinating to see how that happens. And I like Jackson Dart. I think he needs time. I don't think he's ready to step in and play right away because, like you mentioned, Greg, like that offense at Ole Miss, it's designed to win in the SEC, and they do a great job of that. But there's not a whole lot that layers into what you do in the NFL. So I do think we're getting a lot of the anticipation that these teams need quarterbacks so badly, whether it be the Steelers at the end of round 1, the Rams potentially, or at the top of round 2. If the Browns don't take a quarterback at 2, they're back on the board. They could take a quarterback. The Titans, if they don't take a quarterback, they could be back up there. And so you start to anticipate someone's going to go early. A month ago, you heard a lot of Jalen Milroe, some Quinn Ewers talk. Now it's Jackson Dart. We got 3 months to go. I don't know that we can fit any more names in between now and the draft. Someone will probably rise up there, but I'll say I'm skeptical on the idea that 3 are going to go in the 1st round, just because I think ultimately we're going to get to late April and teams are going to say, like, hey, our grade is not, we don't have this kind of grade on this guy. And I think that 2021 class and the 2022 class have informed teams so much. Trevor Lawrence is the only one of those quarterbacks drafted that's still on his original team from the top 4 rounds of those 2 drafts. So when you miss at that position because you reached to fill a need, you're getting fired. And the quarterback, it does a disservice to them too, because they're moving on and got to relearn a system in year 2 or 3.
Matt Miller joining us on the Buyers Right Hotline talking the NFL draft. I saw some different drafts with different guys from Alabama in different places. Jihad Campbell's an interesting prospect. I've seen some people in the 1st, some people mid to late 2nd. Where would you have that former Alabama player listed in your mock?
Yeah, I had him right in the middle to Seattle in my latest mock draft. And I like him. I think he is a little bit polarizing because you're trying to figure out how do you use him? How do you best use him? And there's going to be different defenses want to use him different ways. He's shown he has the athletic ability to do a lot of different stuff. He's got the size you want to take away some passing windows in the middle of the field. And everything I've said is, hey, instincts, work ethic, character are going to be awesome. And that's probably going to bump him up. In a bad draft class, I really do think we're going to see teams value like good people. That's going to help a lot. But, he could be a rush linebacker in a 3-4. He could rush off the edge. He could play in the middle of the field. He's just got to play more football. I think it's the big thing to, get his kind of the read and react skills a little bit faster.
Yes. That I think is the big thing with him. Like, he's a great guy, great player, tremendous talent. Obviously a big boy, doesn't look like he's 245, but moves with a certain fluidity that you appreciate. But the read and react stuff, he takes some bad steps from time to time. I can live with that in year 3 or 4 when he's off the ball, but it's hard to evaluate a guy that's only been off the ball for 1 year. So how do you factor that in with the projection as opposed to what he currently is?
Yeah, that's the hard part, right? And I think that's where, not to hedge on this, I think that's where scheme matters so much, because is he going to go to a spot where you let him focus on one position? We've seen guys like Isaiah Simmons in the past where they go to the NFL, and this happened to Minka Fitzpatrick, another Alabama guy. You go to the NFL and they say, you're going to be a utility knife for us. You're going to do this, and you do this, and you do this, and it stunts their growth. So I think the key for guys like Campbell, and I think you could say this about Jalen Walker from Georgia as well, is they need to get in somewhere and do just focus on one spot, and then maybe you start to add things in on top of that. I look at Campbell and I think right out of the gate, if you need to get him on the field to validate the pick, you could use him as a rush backer right off the gate. Like, he can do that, no problems, and then maybe he gets a little bit more of a feel for the game, the instincts start to click, and then you can start to move him around to take advantage of some of the different mismatch skills that he brings.
All right, I got to get one more in here, and it's just the running back class. So if you look at Ashton Genty, we know that he's the first one off the board. He probably deserves to go first round. I'm very different than other people. I think the only other one potentially worth the first round pick would be Dylan Sampson, just because of his versatility and explosiveness that he gives you. But I also
not
just
Judkins?
Not in the first, man. No, I love Quinchon, but in the NFL and what you need from that position there, I maybe later, but I don't know.
ETN?
No. But that's what I wanted to ask Matt about this position because, Matt, I don't think people have any idea how deep this position is this year. And maybe Genty's the only A-plus running back, but if you're talking B-plus, A-minus guys, Hampton, Caleb Johnson, Quinchon, Nicholas Singleton, Scattaboo, Travion, RJ Harvey's going to play in the NFL. Devin Neal's going to play. Ollie Gordon's one of the most productive running backs in college football history. Bashard Smith had a great career. Jordan James can go. Damian Martinez is the ultimate grinder if that's what you need out of your running back. It is extremely deep. What is that going to do to that position in this year's draft?
We see a lot of them. We've got a record for running backs drafted. I know where you were going. I was counting. I have 12 running backs in the top 120. So that'd be 12 in the top 4 rounds. And that's without, I probably need to bring up Bashard Smith a little bit. I probably need to bring up RJ Harvey. I have them in round 5.
We haven't even mentioned Jaden Ott, Donovan Edwards, Jarquez Hunter. They're going to play in the NFL. I mean, Taj Brooks.
Jaden Blue from Texas. Yeah, it's such a good running back class. I think what we're seeing is because of how great these free agents like Saquon, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, how great those guys played this year, good teams are starting to see that there's value in a running back again. And so if you're a team that has a quarterback, like I look at the Broncos, the Chargers, you've got a young quarterback there and you've got no running back. Those teams are going to they're drafting a running back in the first or second round. So I don't know that we see any other than Ashton Genty going the first, but I think the second round, we're going to see those dudes fly off the board. Hampton, Judkins, Travion Henderson, Caleb Johnson, Dylan Sampson, those 5 running backs could fly off the board in the second round.
Matt, great stuff, man. We'll have you back before the draft, but I really appreciate your time today coming off Senior Bowl. Great conversation. We'll catch up again soon.
Sounds great, guys. Appreciate you.
All right, there you go. Matt Miller talking the NFL draft. He joined us on the Buyers Right Hotline. Always great catching up with him. You're going to have to wait for Pat and Gillen, magician in studio at 9 a.m. It's going to be great. But you never have to wait for your dental care, GMAC.
That's because Famicare Dental has you taken care of. They're the urgent care office where you can be seen the same day. They have 5 locations to make it easy on you. Hoover, Fultondale, Homewood, Alabaster, and now open in Trustful as well. Go and get them taken care of. We know it's hard to make dental appointments work on your schedule. That's why Famicare Dental is there to make it easy on you. They're open on Fridays and Saturdays, and they can get you in. Call them today for a appointment. It's Family Care Dental, 874-9605. That's 874-9605. All right, when we come back, talk a little bit more about what we were just talking about with the NFL draft. Is this the worst quarterback class in recent memory? We'll talk about it next. Mac Cube in the morning. Jock 94.5. Welcome back, McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Jack 94.5, 8:49 a.m. here in Birmingham, Alabama. Bill Smith Buick GMC, short drive up to Coleman. Go take a peek for yourself. Some of the deals they have on the lot, off the charts good. There's a reason why 75% of their business is repeat customers. That's because you have a better experience when you shop with Bill Smith. Go get yourself a GMC Sierra 1500. It's 2025. It's the SLT 4x4 X31 off-road package. $65,000 plus is the list price. You'll get it for under $55,000. That's $54,795. Deals like that keep people coming back. Deals like that make you sell more vehicles than anyone else in the entire Southeast. They also have that used car supercenter. So regardless of what your budget is, they can find a solution for you. So take the short drive out to Coleman. You'll be glad you did. You can also shop online. Have it delivered right to your driveway at BillSmithBuickGMC.com. We were talking a second ago, Cole, and teased this before the break. I don't know if I can recall an NFL draft that is as underwhelming as this one is.
Hater.
Not a hater. You just referenced the running back spot, and I agree with you. I think it's an excellent running back class. Excellent. Which is funny because I think that factored into the Saquon Barkley, we'll let him go. Look at all the young guys that are now available in the draft every year. Like, these guys are amazing. I'm not saying any of these guys are going to be Saquon Barkley, but everyone just absolutely killing the Giants right now for letting the guy go is probably not paying attention to just how many quality running backs there are at the college level. And every 3 or 4 years, you press reset, no problem. We're not going to pay a guy $40 million to run the football.
Well, think about those generational guys that have gone first round. I mean, is there a Ashton Genty is different. I don't think there's any doubt. But when you think about a Todd Gurley, an Adrian Peterson, when you think about like those type of Saquon, those type of running backs, do you see any of these guys as that guy? I don't. I mean, I
can't miss.
I think there could be some really good ones, some guys who have really good NFL careers, but I'm talking just the physical traits being above and beyond what even really good running backs have. And that's what I'm not sure any of these guys have. But I mean, But
Saquon wasn't doing the things in New York that he's doing now in Philly.
That's fair. But he was doing some stupid things in college.
No question
and we
about
watched
that.
him like, there's not a lot of guys like that. There's not a lot of dudes like that. I just think when you get down into the double digits of this running back class, just going by ESPN rankings, they have Jarquez at 20. They have Donovan Edwards at 19. Jaden Ott at 18. Rocket Sanders at 23. I think all those guys can play in the NFL. Taj Brooks is 21. Ollie Gordon's 14. Devin Neal's 13. You mentioned ATN. He's 9th. Damian Martinez 10th. Dylan Sampson's 11th. I think all those guys are starting NFL running backs. I mean, you've seen some of these guys in person more so than I have, but Scattaboo, Singleton, Travion, RJ Harvey, they're going to start in the NFL. Jordan James, size might be a little bit of an issue.
In the NFL.
I think if he gets in the right spot, I think he can.
I don't think he's got enough top end. Like, I don't think he's real. I think running guys over is great quality in college. Yes. That ain't happening in the league. Like, so, yeah, you can have him potentially, like his versatility on third down.
Let me ask you this. Is he going to be on a roster getting some carries for 6-8 years?
Yes. He's better than Will Shipley, who's on the Eagles roster right now.
Yeah.
Like, and is a good contributor, like has done some good things for him in special teams. Like, I think Scattaboo will be a special teams ace for sure. So there's some value there for sure as well. But I look at the running back spot. I think it's super deep. I look at the receiver spot. I don't like it. I think the receivers this year are fine.
Well, the hard part is especially when you compare it to some of the receiver classes we've had the last 4 or 5 years.
It's been absurd.
Oh, it's not even close.
How do you feel about tackle?
I think there's
not one.
No, I think Will Campbell can start in the NFL and be really good. I like Josh Simmons. Now, he's got to be healthy, but Josh Simmons he's a massive human and he's got good movement. He can play. I think Mimbu can start on the right side.
There's not a bona fide lock, though, that those guys are going to be great players. There's not a Joe Alt.
No, but who? Okay, let me ask you this. No, there's no physically when you're talking about just God-given ability above and beyond anybody else. Kelvin Banks is probably closest to that, and he has flaws in his game.
There's no when you draft Penei Sewell, that is a plug and play. 12 years, you're good to
100%.
go. Not a single worry in your mind.
Well, let me ask you this: who do you think the safest tackle is in this draft?
If I had to have one, probably.
It's easy for me.
I don't know if it's easy for me because Josh Simmons got worked a few times.
That's not Josh Simmons.
I know it's not Kelvin Banks for you.
Nope.
If it's Mimbu at the right tackle spot, I'm thinking more left. Like, I'm not drafting.
It's Will Campbell for me.
I see. Like, I think Will Campbell's a good player. I think he's going to struggle with Twitch.
But you put the tape on of who he competed against this year. I mean, he went through a gauntlet of legit edge rushers and was really good for about 95% of the time.
95 ain't good enough when you got $50 million quarterback dropping back.
Well, finds one with some mobility.
Fair enough. Don't draft him then, Bengals.
But you're right. There's not a
it's not a can't miss
bona fide lock.
All right, quarterback.
Guard. There is one. There's one at guard.
A can't miss.
Yes.
And if you say it's the guy from North Carolina, we're fighting.
No, it's Booker.
Oh yeah. Okay.
He is the one guard that I have. And people are saying Donovan Jackson over him. Absolutely not.
Donovan Jackson looks good on the hoof. Like position versatility, I get that too.
Pretty tough tackle.
I know position versatility.
Tyler Booker, 10-year starter, Pro Bowler, plug and go. You're good.
Yep. All right. So quarterback. What's the opposite of yes?
Okay. Well, let me ask you this: Is there a guy that you're willing to say I would draft him and I think he could come in and start?
No.
Maybe not year one, but year 2, 3, and be our guy for 8, 9 years.
No. I'm not kidding. I think the guy that's going to have the best career out of all these guys is the kid from Indiana, Curtis Rourke. I think he's going to be in the league the longest. And then we're going to look back and be like, oh my gosh, that guy's like Andy Dalton. He's like year 15.
It's like every single one of them has a really scary trait. Like Cam Ward, you're not going to be able to ad lib like that in the NFL. It's not going to work. Jackson Dart, obviously the system, the different things, like some of the throws are a little bit robotic because of how you're asked to make them. The timing, it's not going to be like that in the NFL.
He's not twitchy
we know.
enough.
Quinn Ewers, we know, like you're not just going to be able to float every ball in the NFL. It's going to get intercepted. Gabriel Size. I mean, Riley Leonard, just overall capabilities of making throws. Every single one of them has something that you look at and say, what about Kyle McCord?
I don't like volume passers. It's just a little concerning.
If you're looking for just arm ability, take Tyler Shuck. He's your guy.
Tyler Shuck's got the best arm. He's also got the most challenging injury history to overcome.
Well, he'll give you the ball.
I like interceptions. You don't.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of giving the ball to the other team. But hey, it happens. All right, I'm excited for our next segment, maybe next hour. Patton Gillen, local magician, heading off to Vegas tomorrow morning, is going to join us in studio, and you will be entertained. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning, Tuesday, February 4th, right here on Jocks 94.5. I'm excited to welcome in Pat and Gillian, local magician, not going to be local for long, heading to Las Vegas tomorrow morning to start a little bit of a new job, new career. Not new career, because these magicians still going to be. Before we get to Pat, I'll tell you about Gusty Goulas and the Gusty Goulas Group. If you're looking for a new home here in the Birmingham area, call 205-542-1996. Visit GustyGoulasGroup.com. Button at the top of the page. Smash that. Very little information. Find out what your home's worth right now. Over 835-star Google reviews. Serve more than 3,000 home buyers and sellers right here in the greater Birmingham area. So Gusty Goulas and the Gusty Goulas Group can help you get rid of your home, get into a new home. They know what's coming available. They've got that buyer base already set. Just Google Gusty Goulas Group and see what people are saying. 205-542-1996 or visit GustyGoulasGroup.com. All right, Pat and Gillian joining us now in studio. So I told Greg, had a chance to see you perform over the weekend. Yeah. At a birthday party, and I was skeptical, doubted some of the entertainment value, and ended up being blown away. You did an awesome job.
Thank you.
It was very impressive. Let's get the microphone down just like a little bit there. We'll try to get, there you go.
Perfect.
There you go.
There we go. We'll fix it.
No,
There
yeah,
you go.
it's all good. It's
Boom.
okay. You don't need a
Better?
microphone when you're doing magic in front of like 10 people. So it's all good.
All good. All good.
Tell us a little bit about your story, Pat.
I've been a magician my whole life since I was 8 years old. So I'm 23 now. So we're going on 15 years. It started off as like just a fun thing. My dad showed me a trick and I learned it, went to school, showed people. But what I really loved more than anything is even if I did a trick wrong or I did it right, I entertained people. And I've always been a huge people pleaser and I love meeting people. And it's just been the biggest key, the biggest icebreaker to help me do that. And it's been awesome. Also, I have bad ADHD. So like, a deck of cards has been like a fidget spinner for the past 15 years for me. I just practice a lot.
So there were a couple the other night that you kind of admitted to messing up like one part of. Was that part of the show, or did you really maybe miss one card out of the entire deck?
Who knows? Who knows?
Okay,
It's fun. The fun thing about magic, what I love is you don't know what to expect, right? So you don't know if I messed up or if I didn't mess up because you don't know where the trick's going to end. And as magicians, we take advantage of that. So because you don't know where it's going to go, you will never know if we mess up because we'll just keep on going. It's like when a musician misses one note in a song, you have no idea. The magician's the only one that knows. The musician's the only one that knows. So yeah, I have back doors for everything. If something happens I with me and my particular type of magic, I like to do risky things. I like to do risky things with magic, stuff that might not always work. And if by chance it doesn't work, I have a back door that I can always walk through that'll make it work.
Well, you also have Greg, I think you'll see, he has a really good skill of before the trick, like a lot of self-doubt that he'll put out. He's like, this might not work. This might not work. I don't think this is going to work, but we'll try it anyway. And you're just kind of like, all right, can he do this or not? Like, why is he doubting himself?
It's an experiment. It's an experiment and we'll just see, you know?
And what made you want to pursue magic? I mean, at 8, it's not like, there's a million things in your arsenal potentially as an 8-year-old, whether it's video games or sports or, magic in your instance, piano, what have you.
Yeah.
Like, why magic?
I don't know. It's just, I feel like something with it just clicked with me. Like I love, like I said, I love meeting people, and it was such an easy way to meet people, such an easy way to interact with people. But on top of that, I loved people pleasing. I loved making people happy and getting to meet people. And that was like a key element of all of it. And then also as I started getting better, blowing minds was really fun.
Right,
seeing how hard I could destroy somebody was like a really fun thing, But one thing that I always like to promote is outside of the box thinking, right? There's this old Nelson Mandela quote that everything's impossible until it's done, right? Everything's impossible until it's done. And a lot of people, what they see me do, they rule out as impossible, but in reality, it's possible. You just don't know really exactly how I'm doing it.
Yeah.
But you know that there's a way I'm doing it, but you just don't know. So what I encourage, right, is that outside of the box thinking. Don't rule things out as impossible when they are possible.
But it's kind of amazing to me, like the magicians, how everyone can do the hidden card trick or make something disappear right in front of your eyes. Like the standard operating, hey, I gotta have this trick in my book. I gotta have this trick in my book.
Yeah.
Pick a card, any card. Oh, here it is. The standards.
Yeah.
But coming up with new material always blows my mind. Like, how do you do it? Because there's a million magicians out there. Everyone's trying to come up with something new.
So
how do you press the envelope?
Well, this is the interesting thing. I heard this recently, actually, at a convention, that 99 or 1% of magicians in the world are the ones that create the tricks and come up with new ideas.
Really?
Yeah, and the other 99% just use the stuff the 1% created. But it's good. They refine it. They practice it. It's still
their own
not easy to
spin
do.
on it, of course.
Yeah, but it's interesting. But one thing for me that inspires me is I mean, so when I was about 11, 12 years old, my parents sent me off to magic camp.
Nice.
Cannon's Magic Camp in Philadelphia. It's 1 week out of the summer, 900 magicians from all around the world, aging from like ranges like literally like 5 to like 24 come. And some of the greats come. I mean, like David Copperfield, that's where he went as a kid. Like Blaine's been there. I mean, you got literally everyone. Michael Carbonaro is a regular there. I mean, these people come that are like idols that we look up to as kids. They'll perform a show and we'll be like fanboying, fangirling, whatever. And then the next day, instead of leaving, they just stay the rest of the week and become your friend. We eat lunch with them, breakfast with them. We get to know them, and
so cool.
And not just that, but we get to learn from them, right? They teach us things, they teach us secrets. But besides that, for me, what I got the most out of it is the friends, right? And that connected me in the magic community. So now I have friends all around the world, which has been awesome. And every time I go to a convention or something, it's like reuniting with friends that I just haven't seen in a long time because we're all separated, right? But it's really cool coming together. And then over the years, I've gone to conventions and gotten to meet all kinds of famous magicians and show them different things. And that's one thing too that's I think is helping me with going to Vegas is I've connected a lot out there with people like some to name Shin Lim. I've met Matt Franco, David Copperfield, David Blaine, all kinds of awesome magicians. And that's been a really big thing for me. So what inspires me to create new things too is watching other magicians and kind of getting inspiration from how they perform and how they create tricks. And then also another thing is reading books. I feel like a lot of today in this age, people don't read books anymore, you know? And there was this good thing that somebody said that if you want somebody to know how to do something, everyone to know how to do it, make a video of it. And if you want somebody to not know how to do something, put it in a book. No one will read it. You know what I mean?
Guilty, by the way. Guilty.
This is
and
that goes for everything, really.
For sure. I mean, when you're in a magician camp or a magician setting where 900 other magicians are around you, like how do y'all interact without just trying to constantly one-up each other?
That's a great,
I'd be like,
thing.
That's easy. Watch this one, you know?
Well, I mean, it's fun. You find that like magicians, one thing that all magicians have is an ego, right?
Real 100%.
And it's funny because even me, like,
all performers. You'd have to.
Yeah, you have to. But it's funny, like you'll think you're good, right? You'll think you're good at magic. You'll think you're like, man, I'm good. And what obviously gasses you up is all these people reacting when you're doing stuff.
Right.
But these are people. These aren't magicians.
Correct.
The moment you go around other magicians, you get humbled real fast. You're like, oh, maybe I'm not so good.
Yeah, right.
Maybe this is just a regular thing. But that's one thing that helped me get better too, right? Is every time I would be around magicians, it would make me want to be better.
Yeah.
So much so that I would innovate and try to get better and inspired by things. My parents told me a while ago, there's always somebody better than you. There's always, in Star Wars, they say there's always a bigger fish, right? Or whatever.
Right.
But, it's up to you whether you choose to be like taken down by that and depressed by that or inspired by it to kind of push forward to get to that level.
All right. So I want to ask this question because I haven't asked them yet. Damien, Greg, are you semi-skeptical? Do you think this is going to be good?
No, I'm big on magic. I love magic.
This is awesome.
Okay.
I bought a magic trick one time. I don't know. I probably was 11.
How do you buy a trick?
Oh, great. Yeah.
They had like a magic store.
Yeah.
Like a set. Like
there used to be, in Birmingham, there used to be a brick and mortar store a long time ago.
It was like a brick and mortar random magic store at the end.
Spencer Gifts?
No, it was like in Irvine. It was like in Irvine, Texas, or Irvine,
very cool. Okay,
California.
Okay.
And I was at a football camp, and like we went out that night. Me and my dad, we went to walk around an outdoor mall, and I bought a magic trick, and it was like this little thing that you could put behind your ear and like elevate a card. And I was like, this is the easiest trick ever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you should spin it, and it was like, a little string or whatever. It was pretty sweet.
The Hummer card. That's what you're talking about.
I don't know what it was, but
what the floating card where it looks
like
a
floating
frisbee
card,
in the air.
100%.
Classic. Great trick.
Yeah, great trick.
Yeah,
Probably going to bust that out here pretty soon at some point. Do you think I can impress him with the floating card trick, Cole?
My son got a magic set, not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before. And it had like, the giant box and the hat, and you could reach in the hat and the wand that like the tip of it disappears or whatever. He didn't so much follow up with that. Like he has, I think, a little bit of the ADD too. Like he's one thing to the next thing to the next thing to the next thing. Right. So, but he was into it for a minute.
I think as parents, like my parents encouraged me to keep going. It's interesting with magic. Everyone, I feel like at some point in their life goes through that phase where they're like, look up a bunch of YouTube tricks or get a magic kit.
Yeah, for sure.
And then they'll like fall out of it. I feel like everyone's gone through that phase. For me, I just didn't fall out of it, you know. But it's really great. My parents always were like encouraged me, even though I had self-doubt because I was like, I don't know, I'm not good. Especially after meeting other magicians that are like ridiculously insane. My parents were like, listen, like Rome wasn't built in a day. Practice, 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 practice. And then I was in the marching band as well in high school, and I actually got to perform for the halftime show for Vestavia High School. And I did a thing where I made a guy disappear in the middle of the field.
Really?
Yeah.
What? That's pretty sweet.
How did he feel about it?
Yeah, it was pretty fun. It was cool. But it was interesting too because it was a stage trick.
If you really want to impress her, you should make a lineman disappear during winter conditioning workouts. That would really.
I've done that.
Great. I love it. That's awesome.
That's awesome though. So just right in the middle of the field?
Yeah, so it's a stage trick that's been done in Vegas for years where a person essentially gets in this velvet bag, they tie the bag, put the bag in this giant wooden crate, right? And then I stand on top of the box, raise the curtain, throw the curtain up in the air. When the curtain falls, it's the person that was in the bag now, and I'm gone.
Yeah.
They unlock the box, and I'm inside the bag in the box. We switch places instantly. Right?
Wow.
But the fun part about that was, and it was hard figuring that out because that's a stage trick, right?
Yes.
A stage, you're working one angle. A football field, you're working a 360 angle, right?
That's a lot tougher.
So I had to kind of adapt it to make it, work for outside and work for 360. But also another thing that was interesting is weather. That's another thing you don't really ever think about.
Yeah, that could throw you off.
When you raise a curtain, you definitely don't want that wind blowing up against the curtain.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I took these giant metal chains and I attached it to the bottom of this curtain so it kept it nice and taut. But what it also added is this very cool audio. Every time I raised the curtain up and down, taunting that I'm about to throw it up in the air, you'd hear the chains clicking.
Oh, yeah.
It sounded really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Damien, are you skeptical?
It's
no,
good.
I just want to see if I can
Excited?
catch
Good.
it. Like I just want to see if I
You
look
won't catch it.
closely
I'll
enough.
tell you that.
It's
You
good.
won't-
It's
you won't
good.
figure out. I spent a
I
lot
love
of
it.
time the other night trying to decide if his math was real, trying to decide where the distractions were coming
Math
from.
ain't real.
Math.
Well, there's a couple
Mathemagic.
things that he'll do from a math perspective that you'll be like, there's no way you can count like that. Like it's a lid.
Yeah.
The one trick that you did, and I think you were looking for a certain number, all the cards of a certain number, and he was shuffling the decks, telling us where they were in the decks. He was like, okay, now they're at 14, 22, 46, 51. I'm just like, dude, no. Yeah.
Shuffle tracking. Yeah, it's difficult, but it's fun. It's fun. It definitely makes you not trust people in Vegas. I'll tell you that.
I really don't trust people in
You will
Vegas.
get banned
I can
from
promise you that.
every casino if you
And
can
they
do
shouldn't
that.
trust me. I feel like we're going to go out there and get them.
All right.
Go
Do
business.
you want to try to because we're at the break here in a few minutes, and you'll be back on the other side. But do you want to try to get a little something going?
We'll start
here
off.
before
We'll
we
start
go
off with
break?
something.
Like an
We'll
easy
start off
one?
with something. Yeah, let's start.
And
with
if
an
you
easy
want
one.
to watch this on our YouTube page, you can actually see the table and you can see Pat and what he's doing. So just search Jocks945 and you'll be able to go back and watch this also. But if you're listening, we'll try to give you some play-by-play how this is going to go.
Right,
We've never
right.
done magic on radio before, so we'll
Right.
see how this
And I
goes.
don't think it's going to be like, oh, he slipped the card into his sleeve. Like, we're not going to be necessarily
Yeah.
looking that
Trust me,
closely.
you're
Like,
Well, don't worry.
No,
I'll,
no,
sure that we
even
will. I
even
mean-
if you look that close, Craig, you're not going to be able to call that.
I'm
I
pretty
promise.
close to him.
yeah.
Like you said, impossible, Patton. The under the hand card swirl, like even that is impossible to me. You can
yeah.
show them in a minute. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
sure.
try.
Yeah.
No, it's not even a magic trick. Like he just does the little foot under his hand and the cards like spin all around and he holds them and I'm like, okay, yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was
No, don't know how you do
doing.
that.
I was saying like I besides
Well
doing
described. This
doing
play-by-play is
magic.
going to go well.
It's gonna
he
be
flipped
great.
his hand and then it swirled.
You'll see.
Yeah, besides doing
Oh my
magic, I also
gosh.
like to do sleight of hand demonstrations.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with sleight of hand. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Even if it's a useless move that no one will use, I want to learn it because I love it. It's fun. Like I said, ADHD. So
For sure.
yeah, definitely.
All right,
Well,
here
you
we
want to
go.
try something?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do something. This deck of cards has been on the table the entire time. Yeah.
Correct.
This
Yeah.
whole time we've been talking.
Yes.
We're gonna try something as fair as possible. Actually, can you hold on to that deck of cards just to make sure
Yes.
I'm not like touching it or doing
So
anything
I,
fancy?
Greg, am holding a deck of cards.
Yes.
A standard deck.
Right. A standard deck of cards. This is what we're going to try and do, yeah? We're going to make a playing card. But we're not just going to make it here. We're going to make it with your friends. So we're going to call in somebody, a random person, but not just yet. But if y'all want to start calling in, you can start calling in. If you want to be used in this magic trick, we're going to use
800 you mean like calling the phone?
Yeah,
not
call on
people
the
from the
phone.
house.
Yeah.
800-239-9569. 800-239-WJOX. Pat needs your help to call
Some
in and help
people
us
are
create
friends.
a
If
playing
Domer
card.
calls, not a friend. Bama hater calls, not a friend.
They will
I love
go
it.
out of their way to ruin this trick.
But before
Correct.
this person answers, before we answer this call, we're going to do something. Do you like the black cards or the red cards? It's up to you.
I prefer the red cards.
Are you sure?
Yes.
It's up to you. You could change your mind if you'd like.
I'm okay. I'm going to go red.
Red cards, awesome. And Cole.
Red 12 is my favorite card.
Red 12. Oh,
Yeah.
nice. I love it. And then with the red cards, you have the hearts and the diamonds. Cole, what do you want? The hearts or the diamonds? Free choice.
Probably take diamonds.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Or do you want to
Standard.
change your mind?
No, I'm going to go diamonds.
Awesome. And then we'll go
He's
ahead.
such a material
we'll go
guy.
ahead and talk to somebody, whoever called in. Can we go ahead and do that?
Yeah. We'll, oh, wow.
Hastings.
Hastings
Oh,
is,
gosh.
he's going to go for a minute. So get ready for a
That
talker.
sounds great.
We'll try Hastings.
No,
though.
I love it. I love it.
Hastings, welcome in. Thanks for calling in, helping out Patton with this first magic trick.
Yeah, no, I'm really stoked about it. I've already got a planned out. I don't think he's going to get me, but I'm excited.
This is going to be good. This is going to be good. Okay, so this is what I need you to do. You're familiar with a deck of cards, correct?
Yes.
Perfect. Awesome. So we have red. We have diamonds, right?
Yep,
You
that's
said
right.
diamonds.
Mhm.
You're going to pick the value of the card, right? So keep in mind a lot of like some of the most commonly said cards are the ace of spades, the queen of hearts, something like that. I want you to think of a random value. We already have diamonds. So you can pick ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, jack, queen, king. And go ahead and think about it right now. Can you think about it?
Yes.
Now change your mind. You got it?
Yes.
Now change your mind one more time. Do you got it?
Yes.
Now, would you agree that's the most random thing you
That
could have
is-
picked?
I'd say it's
That's
pretty random.
random.
Yeah.
Right. For the first time, you can go ahead and say it. What is that? What are you thinking of? What number? What are you thinking of?
Who, me?
Yes.
I'm thinking of a 3.
3. It's the 3 of diamonds.
Yes.
Greg, that deck of cards is still in your hands, correct?
Correct.
What I didn't tell you is that one card is face down in that deck of cards.
Really?
I did it before I even came in here.
Okay.
For the first time, can I see the cards?
Yes.
I'm not going to do any fishy. I want y'all to confirm
for
for
it.
the people that are
Yeah.
listening.
Yeah, no,
I'm
this
not
is-
doing
I'm
sleight of
handing it
hand.
over to him.
Nothing.
Nope.
No
Handed the
crazy
deck
sleight of
back.
hand.
All
I'm
good.
just at fingertips, just holding the cards.
Correct.
Box is closed on the deck
Yes,
of cards.
look.
Yes.
I want y'all to see this. Can y'all confirm for the audience listening that
Okay.
one single playing card is face down?
Yes.
One card's face down, right?
One card face down.
One card
correct.
is face down.
Yep.
The 3 of diamonds. Check
Come
that
on,
out. Is that
stop
the
that.
3 of
Chill out.
diamonds?
Come on.
3 of diamonds.
Come
The 3 of
on.
diamonds,
Three of
one
diamonds is
card
face
that's been in
down.
your hands the entire. I mean, come on.
Hastings, you in on this?
Hastings is on the tape.
Yeah, we're in on this. You did good, man. You did good.
Where'd you go to high school, Hastings? I need to know. Were you in the marching band of Vestavia?
Not. No. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Hey, coach offense at Alabama, man. We need that.
Good. Thank you, Hastings.
Good job,
Wow.
Hastings.
Holy
Appreciate it, guys.
mother.
That's weird. That's
All right,
simple.
come on.
It's interesting. I mean, that's crazy.
That's
Love that.
wild.
There's
Right?
no more random way to come up with that card.
Super random.
I
That's
don't
interesting,
understand.
right? And
how
what's
we
funny
do
is
that.
I'll do this trick, this thing, and I'll go to corporate events and weddings, and I'll just get people to just call their friends. It's
Yeah.
fun. It's fun. It's
I like
interesting.
that. That
do we
does
do we
make
have
it
time for
super simple.
another trick? Yes.
We can do one more real quick. Yeah.
Let's try one more.
Why not?
Yeah,
Try
we
one
don't
more.
care about time.
Yeah.
We're a little,
Right.
we're a little
Right.
over,
Yeah.
but it's all good.
We'll try this. This is fun. Okay, this will be great. This is fun. I was thinking, football, all these things. What kind of interesting tricks could we use?
For folks who don't know, he just laid the deck out there. One card was face down, and it was the 3 of diamonds, who he asked Hastings to change his mind 3 times.
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
went to
That's
3.
insane.
He let Greg choose. I chose the diamonds, and Greg chose the color, and that was the one card that was down in a deck that had not been opened since he walked in.
Correct.
Yeah. It's been
Unbelievable.
talking this whole time. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's weird. Let's try this. Deck of cards. Can you do me a favor here? Take the cards and just mix them up.
All right.
We're not going
Exactly.
to really use this deck of cards. I mean, in a second, you're just going to pick, I don't know, a couple cards. But
Do I need to like
Can
shuffle?
you do,
Yeah,
can you
shuffle
do the
up.
bridge,
All
Greg?
right.
uh-oh,
I
can
can
you
do
do the bridge?
shuffle bridge. Yeah.
I couldn't do the bridge.
Good
the other night.
gambler, good
That's
poker
not.
player.
Well, I've logged a couple hours in
So
the casino.
one thing that I was
They don't
thinking
usually
about
let me touch the cards.
as you're shuffling, one thing I was thinking about is as athletes, breathing is very important. Would you agree?
That's
Yes.
fair. Yeah.
Breathing super important. So
Yeah.
I wanted to play with this idea of breathing. And would y'all say that y'all are good at holding your breath?
Well, I'm an asthmatic, so no, not.
Yeah.
I love it. But
I would say not bad because I have that challenge with the kids at the pool. Who can stay
Right.
underwater the longest. Yeah.
I love that.
And
Yeah,
I
I think
dominate,
we all
yeah.
did that at some point.
I get
That's great.
claustrophobic doing that. I don't do
Here's
that.
what
I can hold
do.
my breath, but not well.
Perfect. Okay. Well, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna pick.
Okay.
I don't know, just a couple cards. Just it doesn't. It literally doesn't matter. But you're gonna take the cards. Don't even look at them. Just pull them out, and then I guess just put your hand on top of the cards. Yeah. So
Okay.
just take a couple. Just take here. Sure,
All right, so
sure,
how many do you want me to
Just
pick?
like a group of cards. I don't care.
All right, sounds
sure,
good.
Sure. Just take some. Sure. And don't even look at them. Sure. Just put them down on the
All
table.
right, down.
Yes. Awesome. And then we'll just hold that there. Cole, this is my phone. We're on the stopwatch.
Got
yes?
it. Yep.
Awesome. What you're gonna do is you're gonna hold your bet. Right.
Okay.
So just take the timer and
All right.
you can see the timer. And for anyone that's watching on YouTube, you can show the camera.
Yep.
When you're ready, you're going to breathe in. You're going to press start. When you can't hold your breath anymore, you're going to press stop.
Oh,
Does
wow.
that sound fair?
Okay.
Awesome.
Ready? And
Perfect. Awesome. So what's interesting is the world record David Blaine held his breath for like 17 minutes and 7 seconds.
Oh, Lord, no.
And a lot of people even his friends
It's a
didn't
little
believe
longer
it.
than normal.
Yeah, it is a little longer than normal. And a
Yeah,
lot of his
right?
friends didn't even believe that it was real, but it was real. And actually, he did it underwater and got ischemia to his heart, which is like where little bubbles happen in his heart. It was not healthy. It was not good.
No.
But it's interesting. He's trained himself to where he can hold his breath consistently for shows in Las Vegas. He can consistently hold it and do it over and over and over again. But what's even more interesting than that is everyone at home, everyone listening, y'all can do that too. Maybe not 17 minutes, but you can hold your breath significantly longer. Press stop.
40,
Press
40
stop.
seconds.
40 seconds. Perfect. A lot of people at home can do it too. It's
David Blaine is looking over his shoulder at you.
right. You can go on YouTube and you can watch videos on how to hold your breath longer than usual. Actors have to do it for scenes, for filming scenes like Jessica Chastain, Tom Cruise, stuff like that. It's all a mind thing, right? Calming your body, not using the oxygen in your body, just really being calm. That's an interesting thing, right? I've tried to play with it. I'm still not good at it, but I'm better than I was. But it's interesting. It's something that everyone can practice.
For sure.
What did you stop on? You held your breath for how long?
This had 40.27 seconds.
So 40 seconds and 27 milliseconds, correct?
Correct. Yes.
You held your breath as long as you wanted.
Yes.
Quick math. What's 40 plus 27?
I'm not the right person for that, but I'm going to guess 67.
67.
Yep.
Double check that, Damien.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Get the calculator. Okay.
67.
67. Yeah.
You know what's interesting is 67 is a 2-digit number, you know?
Yeah.
You shuffled these cards and pulled any 2 cards out you wanted
Yeah.
and just
Don't
put them
pull
face
6
down
and
on the
7
table.
in there. Don't do it.
Yeah.
No.
Can you flip that over and say what those cards are?
That's a 6 and a
Come
7.
on!
What?
Yeah.
67.
6 and a 7. Yeah.
It's not possible.
That is
No.
weird. A 6 of hearts and a 7 of clubs.
That is really
you held your
strange.
breath exactly. Thank you.
I
for
could have
holding your
stopped
breath.
that at any moment, any time I wanted to.
1 second more, 1 second less. It would have been different. Just know that.
How?
And it might not have worked.
And it was in front of me the whole time.
It was in front of you the whole time.
Pulled that out before we even started this. Before you even hand me the phone.
Exactly.
You put those 2 cards down.
Right. Isn't
That's
that
insane.
Out of here, man.
Isn't that interesting? Awesome.
I told you. And we're just getting started. So we will take a break, come back. More Pat and Gillian in studio next on McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning, 9:25, Tuesday, February 4th, right here on Jocks 94.5. Pat and Gillian going to hang out the rest of the hour. I feel like folks impressed already, and we even got callers, got guys calling in on the phone involved.
Yeah,
I was
grips.
surprised that we got that few words out
from Hastings
of our friend Hastings.
Right.
That is odd. That's not usually the way it goes with him at all. But I do want to tell you quickly about my friends at Royal Automotive. They want to help you experience how car buying should be. 4 Royal-owned dealerships, 1 location, selection savings unmatched. Royal, the only place to find over 20 unique truck and SUV options in one spot. 0% for 60 months back on select Volkswagen Tiguan models. Get up to $10,000 off select 2025 GMC Sierra models. Also, the Volvo SUV lineup. XC40, XC60, XC90 models. Go see my friends at Royal. They're going to help you find the best deal available right there at the corner of I-65, Highway 31 in Vestavia. All offers valid through March 3rd, 2025. Certain restrictions apply. And remember, for every ride, there's Royal. Pat and Gillian in studio, local magician from Vestavia, moving to Las Vegas tomorrow to further his career. Tell us when, because Greg and I, I'm sure, had this at some point in football. Yeah. We had this with our media careers. There had to have been sort of that crossroads for you of, can I really make this work? Is this something that I can do as my job? Am I good enough, or are there enough opportunities out there? Definitely. And you're able to step over that obstacle.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's I'm not gonna lie, it's very difficult. You know, I'm only going out there with really by myself, but with people out there, magicians. I'm leaving everything I know. I've been lived here my whole life, you know. But one thing is I prayed about it. You know, I had my friends when I went out to a convention out there in August of last year. A lot of my friends were like, "Why are you working at the hospital? What are you doing? You should be doing this." You know, and I thought about it, you know, and I prayed about it, and then I went to sleep, and I remember the next morning I woke up to a text, and this ended up not happening, but still it was a sign, right? And it was my friend, he texted me he lives in Las Vegas, and he said, "Hey man, I don't know if you're interested or not, but Colin Cloud, the guy that the runner up on America's Got Talent, he just got his own show at Harrah's on the Strip, and Bill Volkner, the producer, needs one more person to be on that team. Would you be interested?" And this was like a day or two after I prayed that prayer. That's crazy. Like, God, if this is what you want from me, tell me, and if this is what I want from me, then show me that too. You know what I mean? And instantly I was like, all right. Well, so throughout this whole moving process, that's been the backbone that's made me stay confident with this, is that I know this is what I meant to do.
Greg, I told Patton before he was coming up that, I think Alabama, I think Georgia, they all had a magician come in the offseason. They all have to have things to keep these guys entertained. I was like, I'm going to connect you with Mullen. He just took the UNLV job, get out there and do some of this for the team out there. Really cool.
Yeah.
I think they'd love it. So, all right, you said you have a couple things that you thought of coming in. What do you have next?
So a lot of these tricks that we're doing are just stuff that I thought would be great for this. So I asked y'all on break if you had a football, and of course you have a football. Why wouldn't you have a football?
Yeah, every once in a while we find one.
Can you pick up this football?
I can.
And you know, I think it has some stuff on it. What does it say? It says Pasadena. What is it?
It's
Alabama,
the game
Texas.
ball that they gave us for the national championship game in 2010. So BCS National Championship, Pasadena, Longhorn on one side, Alabama Crimson Tide logo on the other. You got January 7th, 2010.
That's awesome.
Pasadena, California, Texas versus Alabama.
Right. And that's this. And first thing, can we confirm we didn't set any of this up? You didn't know what I was going to do when I came.
No.
Here. Perfect. Just can you do me a favor? Put that ball right over there, so there's no way I can touch it or mess with it. I don't want you to think I'm doing anything with it. But this is y'all's football.
No worries.
Correct.
Well, his, not mine.
Your football.
I have no need for an Alabama,
Cole
Texas
borrows
football.
it from time to time.
I have obviously we have the deck of cards. I'll shuffle the cards a little bit.
Yeah.
But when I do magic, when I do sleight of hand, no one trusts me holding the deck of cards because they know that I have maybe a little bit of an advantage. So I think you do the bridge, or what's your main shuffle?
Just your standard.
Give it a shuffle or whatever your main thing is.
Yeah, pretty standard.
Perfect.
All right.
Let's see it.
This is going to be a big one. Watch this. I'll probably mess it up now that everybody's watching.
Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to shuffle this deck as much as you want, right? There are the amount of ways you can shuffle a deck of cards.
Sure enough.
The amount of different possibilities is 52 cards, 54 including jokers, right?
Yeah.
Technically 56 including ad cards, but 26 red cards, 26 black cards, 13 clubs, 13 hearts, 13 spades, 13 diamonds.
Right.
The amount of different combinations you could shuffle a deck of cards is 52 to the 52nd power. That's a lot, right?
Yeah,
I want you to shuffle that until you're comfortable. Really,
good.
You're
We're
good there.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I feel good about
You
it.
shuffled these cards. The very interesting thing is this is your shuffle.
Yes.
You know, there is a likelihood, a very good likelihood, that this is deck
That
of
order
cards has
has
never
never
been in
been
that
in order.
order ever.
Yep.
Right?
I've seen that before. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. But what's interesting is that's your football.
Yeah.
Can you pick up the football?
Correct. Yeah, I got it.
Every product, everything, I mean, everything from a Coke can to, you know, everything has like either a patent number or a serial code.
Yeah.
Does that have something like that?
It does. It has a patent number.
A patent number. It has a patent number.
Correct.
Of I guess, how many of those were made?
There's a lot.
There's a lot?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, first things first. What's is it like in the thousands or the hundreds?
Millions.
To the millions. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. What's
US
the
patent number?
US patent number? What's the first number?
5.
Can you look at this? I want you to see. You shuffle these cards. The top
did.
card is
Chill
5.
out.
Very good.
five
All
of
right.
hearts. The
Excellent.
five of hearts. What's the next number?
The next one is a 7.
Come
Seven.
on.
7.
All right,
Chill out.
Very good.
Next,
All right.
next.
Beautiful. The next one is a 7.
7.
Wow. Another one.
Oh my God.
Then you have a
Jeez.
9.
9.
All right. So we're through the
Pulls
first
a
4.
9
He's
off.
4
First
for
4 cards, the 5 of hearts, 7 of spades, 7 of clubs, 9 of diamonds. You shuffled these cards.
I
This
did.
is your
Multiple
football.
times.
That is
by the
mine.
way.
What's the next number?
All right. So next number is 5.
5.
Bro, what?
Got it. The next number is 7.
7? Oh, good for me. That's a 7.
There you go.
That's
Got it.
awesome.
All right. Perfect.
7. That's
And
awesome.
the last one, if you miss this one, then
It's all over.
It's all over.
a fail.
dead.
It's,
It's
a
a
fail.
complete failure. It's an 8.
8?
Yes.
Sure it's not a 9?
I think it's an 8, but we can make it a 9. Let's just turn it over.
No,
and
good
I'll
for
tell
me.
you
That's
what's
the
right.
8 of
Oh, you got it
spades.
right.
Oh
That's
my
perfect.
God.
Very
That's
good.
the
There,
8 of
yeah, he got it.
That's
This is insane.
Nailed it.
That's
3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for 7.
That's
on
7.
those.
It can confirm 5779578.
Can confirm.
Patent number on your football.
On my
from your
football.
office.
This is McElroy's football
Championship.
from the BCS National Championship game in Pasadena. It's a U.S. patent number 5779576. 8. Yeah, sorry, 8. Yeah, a little
That's-
faded
He
there.
wanted to say 9.
No, that's it's a little faded there, but it is an 8.
Is that not crazy? That's
Patton
good.
literally
insane.
asked us in the break. This is Patton Gillian, a local magician who's in studio with us. Do you guys have a football? And he said the football. He didn't even know. He said the footballs have serial numbers, and I was like, we can look, I'm sure. And then we had the U.S. patent number. He goes, I'll take that. That'll work.
Yeah, that'll be perfect.
And that's where we go with it. And
Yeah.
Greg shuffled the cards himself, handed them back right off the top. Bam, bam, bam. There you go. That's
That's
awesome.
It's crazy.
I don't
know.
understand.
Let's try something else. Let's try something that's not cards. Something a little different. Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I'll let y'all decide this because y'all are friends. Let's see. What would y'all rather
Colleagues. We're
decide?
colleagues.
Colleagues.
Yeah.
Colleagues.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna let y'all choose. Do you want to do coaches or players?
Oh wow.
Coaches or players?
Probably players. I feel like coaches might be a little dangerous for us.
Players. Okay. So look. First things first. We're gonna go to Wikipedia.
Okay.
And Wikipedia, which is obviously not a credible source, but
Well, I mean,
it's where you can find a lot of stuff.
It's valuable.
There are like what in English it says it right there. Can you? It says how many articles in like every language. Like how many like articles are there in English? Can you see that?
In English, there's 6,946,000.
And then like say like the number of like a random language.
In Portuguese,
Yeah.
which is Cole's second language,
Hmm.
1.142
Croatian.
million.
See, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
We're gonna pick a random article, but let's do it like this. What would y'all think? Say the first name of a random player, but not the last name. And it could make it, if you want to make it fun, you could say a name that's almost a generic name where there's a lot of other players with that last name. Doesn't matter to me.
A random name
Yeah.
of
Smith.
a player.
Smith.
Yeah.
Last name Smith.
Last name Smith.
Perfect.
Okay, and there's a lot of players that have the last name Smith.
I think so.
Perfect.
That's an easy one.
I'll let you choose. I'll let you choose.
Butt kiss.
Butt kiss. That's random. What would you say with any player with the last name Smith? Who do you want? What sounds good?
Devontae Smith.
Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you go take the Wikipedia? Take the
Okay.
phone. Can you type in Devontae Smith?
Devontae Smith.
Obviously, he probably has an article about him. There's
Oh, yeah,
6
for sure.
million,
Won the
90
Heisman.
yeah, right. Of course.
Devontae Smith. Got
First
him.
round
Do we
draft
have
pick.
his article up?
We do.
Awesome. So we're on his Wikipedia article. There's a lot of stuff about him, and then there's also these like extended links. You got like early life, you got college career,
Yeah.
you got like all kinds of stuff. Oh wow, that's a lot. Professional career. I'm extending all of these little hyperlinks so that you can see everything that has to be on everything that's on his page. Sounds good.
Sounds
Personal
great.
life, everything like that. Here's what you're gonna do. you're just gonna kind of scroll randomly, and it's gonna stop it's gonna stop at a random point. It's kind of like spinning the wheel of fortune.
Yeah.
So just take the phone,
Okay.
and when you want, you could swipe hard or swipe soft, and it'll just land on something random. Did you do that? Don't let me see. Hold the phone where I can't see it, so
Okay.
make sure I'm not.
Let me go to the top again.
Yeah,
Try
no,
again.
it's all good. It's all good. Just look
Ready?
at the name at the very top. No, let's see. Here, we can do it like this. Look.
Okay. Name at the top.
No, perfect. Where Devontae Smith is at the top, right?
Yeah.
You're just gonna go like this, and you're just gonna kind of swipe your fingers. Does that sound good?
Yeah, it sounds great. So just up and down randomly.
Right. So let's do it like this. This will be interesting, and I've never actually done this with football before, so we'll see this. We'll try this. Take the phone.
Got it.
Swipe hard or soft, and then it just lands on something random, maybe a random sentence.
Yeah,
Don't read it out loud, but can you read that sentence in your head?
I can.
Awesome. Now swipe to the very top, so there's no way that I can see what you stopped on or landed on or whatever.
Okay.
But it's just something random on Wikipedia about Devontae Smith.
Correct.
You could lock the phone, just make sure I'm not looking at anything.
Yeah, no worries.
And you can put the phone face down, so I'm
down.
not doing anything.
Got it.
I want you to think about this sentence.
Okay.
Can you?
Yeah, I can.
Awesome. Look at me in the eyes.
I gotcha.
You've met Devontae Smith, have you?
I have.
Can you try to imagine the last thing that, last time you saw him, where you saw him? Can you try to imagine that last time?
Yeah, probably.
Question, are you left-handed?
I'm not left-handed.
You're right-handed.
I'm right-handed.
Okay, perfect. I want to try this. Can you put your right hand out?
Okay.
And then just, I want you to look at the back of your hand.
Okay.
And then read that sentence out on your hand. Imagine that's almost projected on your hand, like a projector is projecting on your hand.
Sounds good.
Think about that last word on that sentence.
All right.
That's interesting. Does it have something to do with the Buccaneers?
It does not.
It does not.
No.
The top sentence at the very top. Did you look at that?
The first sentence?
Yeah, that you scrolled and looked at the top.
I mean, Devontae Smith was the only thing I remember, but I remember the sentence that I saw.
At the very top. Or did you just look at a random sentence in the middle?
No, I looked at a random sentence that
Here,
I scrolled
take the phone.
Okay.
We'll try it one more time. Look, just unlock. We'll unlock the phone. You're just gonna scroll to a random spot and read what you land on. So at the very top. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Here. So here. Actually, you take the phone. Don't let me see.
Got it.
Swipe once, and then it lands at the top. Don't read it out loud, but read that.
Okay. The top sentence on this deal.
Yeah. And can you just think about it?
Okay, I got it.
Okay, lock the phone and put it away.
A lot of details in the sentence.
Okay, but just the top, just like a couple of
right.
of the top. You can put it down. Think about it.
Yeah.
This is interesting. This is difficult, but think about it. Imagine it on your hand.
Okay.
This is about him being the first AP Player of the Year.
No, that was not the sentence.
No. It had to do with that, didn't it?
There were some aspects of it, yes, that related to
him being the first of the year. What was the sentence?
The sentence was on October 31st, he recorded 11 receptions for 203 receiving yards against Mississippi State.
Interesting.
There's a lot of
very interesting. Okay.
Details.
Let's try this. I think I have a good idea of how you think. Let's make this more personal.
Okay.
Do you have your phone on you?
Ooh.
I do.
Oh, okay.
Go to your contacts. I would assume you have a lot of people on your phone.
Yes.
So many.
Yeah.
A whole heap.
Yeah.
You're gonna pick a random person in your contacts. Can you do that?
I can do that.
I'm gonna try to narrow this down to a name. Yes.
Okay.
Let's here. Can I see this?
Do you want to see the contact?
I'll just see your phone.
Okay.
Let's try this. This will be interesting. Just you're gonna scroll your finger up and down.
Yeah.
Whenever you want to stop, just stop. It's the same as Wikipedia. You'll just land on a random name.
All right.
Same concept, but it's fun.
Cool.
Put your finger under though and swipe just so I don't see. Yeah.
Right.
So just hold it face down. Put your finger under. Swipe as much as you want.
Swipe. Got it.
It's face down. No one can see anything.
Yes, I have no
lock
idea.
the phone so there's
Lock
no
it.
way.
All right.
It's locked though, but there's no way I can see anything. Right?
Correct. Yes.
Unlock the phone. Look at the name at the very top. Can you look at the name that you stopped on, that you scrolled on?
Yes.
Lock that phone and put it away.
Okay.
And you know this person.
I do.
Think of the first letter.
Of the first name or the last name?
What do you want to do?
I'll do the first name.
Think
That's
of the first letter.
Okay.
S.
S.
Is that correct?
Yes.
You're thinking of anybody in your phone.
Anybody, yeah.
I mean, I didn't touch anything. You did this all yourself.
Right.
I told you to go into your contacts and look at anybody. Think of anybody. You're thinking of a random person in your phone. This is a short name, isn't it?
It is.
It is a short name. Think of it. Spell it in your head real quick.
Got it.
4 letters.
4 letters.
Come on.
Yeah, that's interesting. Spell it. Think of it like maybe a letter in the middle. You got it? Letter in the middle of that name?
Yeah.
You switched. You went back and forth.
No, I know.
Between an I or a K. Skip?
Yeah, Skip is the name.
Don't say the last name, though.
Yeah, I won't.
What?
Don't say the last name. I saw you switch. You went back and forth. Think of the last name.
Yeah.
Think of a letter in the middle. Can you do that?
Again?
Oh, well, no. Are you thinking of W? No.
Yes, there's
thinking
a
of a
W.
W.
Yeah.
Any is this person you're thinking about? Anybody? Is this? I don't know. Skip Powers?
Yeah, Skip Powers.
Come on.
What in the world?
I thought of anything. This is interesting.
It was anyone in the phone. Any single contact in the phone.
He just looked in his phone and thought of anybody.
Yeah.
Right, which is very fun.
That's hilarious.
Isn't that weird?
Well done.
Did he see the reflection in your laptop?
That's had to
maybe?
be it. No, I
was
don't
it?
know.
Bro,
No,
what?
no. Oh, it's funny. Yeah,
That's pretty good.
yeah, it's interesting. We'll try this. This is a fun idea.
Let me take a quick break.
Yeah.
And when we come
That
back,
is
we'll
hilarious.
do that one. We'll get to a break, back with more Pat and Gillian. I think we need about 4 hours here to be able to do this. It's
Right?
incredible. Back with more next. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Appreciate you being with us. Before we get back to Pat and Gillian, I'll tell you about Your CBD Store. You guys have heard me talk about Your CBD Store, the largest brick-and-mortar CBD retailer on planet Earth. Arthritis, anxiety, focus, if you need any help with those. Weight loss trimmed by SunMeds on the shelves now. First company to have USDA-certified organic oil supplements. Stop by one of their 3 locations, Highway 280 by Bailey Brothers, 150 by the Cage in Cleaver, Trussville just off 459. Your CBD Store, they've helped pets in my household. They can help yours. They've helped me. They can help you. Where good health hits home. All right, Patton. That's Patton Gillian, local comedian, moving to Las Vegas tomorrow, in studio with us for about the last hour. A couple more before we run out of time. What are you thinking next? We did the broken finger trick during the break. And
Yeah.
Greg about threw up.
I can't watch
That was
that.
nasty.
We'll save that one.
It's an interesting thing. We'll try this. There's a lot of ways you could shuffle a deck of cards. Can you shuffle these cards?
Did you want Greg to sign a card, by the way?
Yeah, we'll do that in a second.
Okay,
I have an interesting idea with that, with signing a card. That'll be fun.
All right.
But
I'm just glad you got Greg to be your shuffler because mine go all over the place.
About to say.
in a second, I think we should involve your listeners again. So in a second,
Yes.
we're going to call somebody. So
Okay.
if y'all want to start calling,
Yeah, go ahead and call in.
in.
800-239-9569. You can help Patton here out with a magic trick on the show. 800-239-WJOX. We'll get the phones going there.
Perfect. And here's the interesting part, and this is something I was thinking about too, because I've never performed on radio. Is that people might think, that I'm in on it with whoever's calling in, but
Who
you
would
guys,
think that?
you have a lot of people that call in,
Well,
so you
Damien screens the calls,
could pick
so it'll be his fault.
You could pick any of those people. It doesn't matter. That's what I wanted to.
800-239-WJOX. You want to be a part of this?
Do me a favor. We're gonna pick a card, but let's do it in a really fair way.
Okay.
How about this? We'll spread the cards out like this. You can tap on any card. It's really a free choice.
Okay.
Do you want to change your mind, or are you good there?
I'm good there.
I want you to do me a favor. Pull that card out.
All right.
Okay.
So he lays all the cards flat across the table. If you can't see this,
I
Greg pulls one out.
spread the cards on the table.
Yep.
You literally could have picked any card.
Any of
And
them.
also, can you confirm that all of these cards are different and shuffled? You shuffled. These are
Correct.
not all the same card.
Yes.
Look at that card. Don't say anything, but just remember. Can you remember that card?
I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
And Cole, I'm going to give you the cards. But first, can you take that card,
Yeah.
put it anywhere you want inside that deck,
Okay.
and then give it to Cole to shuffle the cards?
Okay.
Perfect.
That could be a problem.
Yeah, it's not going to be as clean as yours. But
That's good.
I'll
It's
do my
good.
best to shuffle the cards here.
I found that people that don't know how to shuffle are the best at shuffling.
best shufflers?
Yeah, because they do it in a very random way.
I can shuffle. I just can't do the
That
bridge.
sounded good.
Not terrible. These are a little more broken in than the other night when there was like a brand new deck.
Right,
That always
right.
makes it a little bit more difficult. Lineman's hands not conducive for
Not working.
shuffling cards.
And you remember
Yeah.
the card. Don't forget the
I
card.
do. I got
We'll
you.
go one more.
Keep it in your head and don't say it. But I'll do tricks for my mom when I practice.
Got
right?
that? Okay.
And then she'll forget halfway through. I'm like, "Is this your card?" And she's like, "I don't
Hand
know."
those back
I'm like,
to you.
I don't know.
Cards go back to Pat, and I shuffled 3 times.
You
So,
shuffled.
yeah.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and answer a call. Let's answer a call.
Do we have anybody? Nobody's calling. Everybody's scared, I think.
Everyone's scared?
Yeah. Do we want to involve Molly or Conrad and let them try to be?
We
a
can,
part of
yeah,
it?
sure.
Okay, Molly, come in or Conrad, come in.
Either or.
both scared?
Or you could just talk to the
Or-
mic. Either or, you can come in.
Okay, here she comes. She's going to help us out right here. Okay.
Awesome. You're gonna do me a favor, yeah? Okay. You can literally think of any number. Can you think of a number in your head right now? What's that number for the first time? Say it nice and loud where they can hear.
9.
9? Are you sure? Or do you want to change your mind?
No.
9. Cole, you shuffled these cards.
I shuffled the cards 3 times. Yes.
And I've made it very clear there's a lot of ways you can shuffle a deck of cards, but it's interesting that 9 cards down is a random playing card. And you thought of a card. You thought of any card.
Yes.
I didn't touch the cards. You pulled the cards out. You pulled any one you wanted out. You looked at it. You put it back in, and then you shuffled.
Right.
I don't even want to touch the cards. You said 9.
Uh-huh.
Can you put 9 right there on the mat? Just look.
Right.
Yeah,
So
sure.
1,
Greg's counting out
2,
the cards.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is 9, correct?
Yeah.
This is fair. You could have said anything, right?
She could have given you any number. I could have shuffled anyway. Greg could have picked any card.
This is interesting. This is weird. You remember the card?
I do.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
For the first time for the listeners, what was the card?
10 of diamonds.
Was it diamonds?
Yes.
It was. Not
Yes.
hearts.
No, diamonds.
Interesting. I want you to see this. Look, is any of these the 10 of diamonds on the table?
They are not.
Awesome. And we'll put this card here. Is any of these the 10 of diamonds on the table? You can look.
He's so detail oriented. He has to literally. Most people would
it's
just say,
good.
"No, I don't see it." He has to go through every single one.
9. You flip that over. Is that The 10 of diamonds?
It is.
The 10
Correct
of diamonds, ladies and gentlemen. That is ridiculous.
Wow.
What?
Insanity.
This is
You could
insane.
have said any
Complete
number,
insanity.
anything. So I'll play with this. This is an interesting idea. I'm gonna get some help. How about this? Do me a favor. Your name is Molly. Molly, you're gonna pick a playing card, yeah? So just take a card, and I'm gonna get you to sign a card. Does that sound good?
Done.
Awesome. He said done. Perfect. Okay, so take any card. Confirm. These are all shuffled. These are all different. You can
Yes.
literally pick any card. Take a card. Sure. It doesn't matter to me. Yep. And can you take that card? And I think I have a Sharpie
Yeah.
here.
Okay.
Can you sign that card?
I can.
So, yeah. Go ahead. Sign.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Can I write Roll Tide on it?
Do it. Do it.
No, why we should do that. But
So Cole doesn't. So if Cole touches it, it gets on his hands.
I
There
love
you
it.
go.
Are you sure? Or do you want to change your mind? Are you good there?
I'm good with that.
Let's try this. I want to try this. Yeah. This will be perfect. This will be perfect. I want to try this. We'll put that card somewhere around the middle of the deck.
Perfect.
Ish. Can you confirm for anyone listening
Confirm
that
it's
that's
in
around the middle?
of the deck. Correct.
Mhm.
Can you put your hand out?
Yes.
Can you put your hand on top?
Yes.
And you can feel the cards. Yes.
I can.
If I were to go in, pull out one single playing card out of the middle from within your hands, and that's your card that says Roll Tide. It's your card. Amazing.
Yeah.
Be good, right?
Good.
Watch. Move your hands just closer to me.
All right.
I'm going to go in and pull one out.
Okay.
It's not the Joker. No.
It is not the.
It's not the Joker. It's not the
Can
Joker.
confirm.
I think we'll make this better. Let's make this a better trick. Would you be more impressed if I could make every single card in your hands disappear right now, vanish, gone?
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet.
Except for your card, the 2 of hearts with the signature.
Yeah.
That'd be a much better trick.
That
Much
would be
better.
pretty cool.
Let's try this. Watch.
All
3,
right.
2. Done.
Okay.
Did you feel it?
Did I feel?
Every card disappear.
No, it feels like the deck is still in my hands.
Can you lift up your hand?
Yeah.
Every
Hold on a
single
second.
card.
Hold on.
For anyone listening, every card
no,
is just now a clear
it's a
piece of plastic.
transparent-
Every single card is
Stop
gone.
it.
Every single card, but not every card.
No.
One card's still
Oh
there.
my God.
Come
Every
on.
card though is
Come on.
gone. They're just pieces of plastic.
Where did that
They're
even come
gone. It's
from?
just clear. Every card is that.
That's a 2 of.
Can you
that's
reveal? Is that
amazing.
your
I
card, the
almost
2 of
signatures
hearts?
with the signature.
Is that
on
your
it.
card, the 2 of hearts
I
with the
think it
signature?
is. Yeah, that looks like my signature.
That is your card that says Roll
Yeah.
Tide on it, right? Which is an
Yeah.
interesting little
How
little
did we
trip.
even? Where did that card even come from?
Feel it. Make sure.
Where did the plastic cards come from?
No, that's it for sure.
That's it.
That's
That was the
definitely
card. Oh my gosh, thank God.
That's
We'll
insane.
try this. Watch. This is interesting. If I go like this, they'll watch. 3,
Yeah,
2. Can I take the 2 of hearts?
you can.
If I go like this, every card goes back to normal. You see?
Stop it.
Every
That's
single card is back to
that's-
normal.
What are we doing?
Every
What are we
single
doing?
card is
The-
back to
Now the clear plastic cards are back to regular cards.
They're back to regular cards, right? Isn't that fun? Now, I want to show this, and I think this will be interesting with people listening. This will be interesting. This is fun. You've been holding on to that Sharpie.
I was.
Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you put your hands out?
Yes.
You're gonna choose between. Move your hands up, like up above the table. Here,
Okay.
Move out more towards me.
More towards you.
Yeah, and
All right.
this might work. Move it up a little bit. Make
All
a
right.
fist.
Fist.
Do you want left or do you want right?
Right.
You could change your mind.
No, right.
You're putting your hands out right now, and you're making a fist, and you could choose any hand.
Yes.
Peer pressure, maybe. Do you want to change?
No, I'm gonna go right.
Put your left hand away. Watch. If I just make an X on my hand, can you see that?
I can.
Sharpie, right?
Yes.
Watch this. If I go like this, 3,
There's no way there's going to be an X on his hand.
2. I didn't touch you.
No, you didn't.
Did not.
You chose any hand.
I chose either hand.
Slowly turn over your hand. Check it out.
Yeah, I have an X on my hand.
Come on.
You have
No.
an X. Show
Show the camera. You got to
That's
be
absurd.
And
kidding.
you confirm I never touched you this
No,
entire
never
time. I never
touched
touched you.
Nope,
You
never
just put
touched
your
me,
hands out
never
and made a
anything.
fist. I don't know. That's interesting.
Patton, you're awesome, man. Seriously.
so much.
Enjoyed
Thank
it,
you
man.
so
Great
much
job.
for coming
Thank
in.
you.
Really appreciate it.
Incredible
Thank you,
stuff.
thank you, thank you.
Incredible
Good
stuff.
luck in
Patton
Vegas,
Gillian,
man.
find him on Instagram. He's got a good trick with his Instagram page as well that he wasn't able to get to today. Heading
just
out
my-
to Las Vegas. You'll find him there. So
Patton Gillian, PattonGuillen on Instagram. Anything. Stay in
There it
touch.
is.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you so much for coming
Thank
in.
You for having
That
me.
was
Enjoyed it,
amazing.
man.
Truly.
Appreciate you.
We'll be back tomorrow, 7 to 10. 3-man front is next.
It is 10 o'clock on this Tuesday. Welcome in. This is Three Man Front. Pat Smith, Landrum Roberts live at Social Taco. The doors will open up at 11 o'clock. Conrad